Hello friends. Welcome to the Phoenix What If. How are you all? So in this video, we will see what if Naruto fell in love with Rukia Kuchiki in Bleach verse. But before we start, if you want more amazing stuff like this, then be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Also if possible share this video with your friends. Now without wasting any more time, let's begin the story. A man named Orochimaru held Naruto with his tongue. Orochimaru was intrigued to say the least. The Kyuubi brat was strong enough to hurt a full-grown summoned snake. "You're an interesting child. I can study you later. It's your friend I want." "Five-pronged seal," yelled Orochimaru, hitting Naruto in his stomach. Naruto felt weird. He felt like all of his power was leaving his body, and not in a good way. His life started to flash before his eyes until he came upon a memory of what Sarutobi said the day he became a genin. Flashback. "Naruto, I'm going to be level with you. The seal that holds the Kyuubi back also keeps you alive, for you and Kyuubi are bonded soul and chakra. If something were to happen to the seal, you may die in minutes. Let us pray that it never comes to that," said Sarutobi. "It won't happen, Gigi, I swear it," said Naruto with a smile. Sarutobi and Rukia smiled as well. "Let's go out for ramen," said Sarutobi, hoping Naruto would only get a few bowls. Flashback end. Naruto stared into the eyes of the man who had just ate up everything. "So this is it, huh? Naruto Uzumaki, age 13, dies at the hands of a gay snake. That's right folks, no super badass last battle, no dying for the girl he loves, or thinks he loves, no dying in a blaze of glory. This really sucks," thought Naruto. With the last of his strength he plunged his hand into Orochimaru's heart. "If I go you go to snake fag," said Naruto, pulling his hand out of Orochimaru's chest. The last thing he heard was a scream from Sakura and a wail from Sasuke. Naruto opened his eyes only to find that he was floating in the air with a chain attached to his chest. "That was fun," said Naruto, finding it hard to breathe. "You said it," came a voice next to Naruto. Naruto looked to his right only to see Kyuubi sitting next to him. "How the hell did you get out?" yelled Naruto. "The seal was a one-lifetime deal kit. It will take me at least 100 years to reform my body for this world, but I have no intention of attacking Konoha again. The reason I attacked in the first place was because I was after something even darker than the deepest pits of hell," said Kyuubi. "What is that?" asked Naruto. "A creature that knows only hunger and the satisfaction of killing," came a voice that made Naruto jump a bit. Kyuubi and Naruto turned and came face to face with Zabuza, who was dressed in black Hakara and Gi. On his side was a katana. Zabuza looked as menacing as ever, but he looked happy. "Zabuza, what the hell are you doing here?" asked Naruto. "I'm here to take you to Soul Society. We got a reading of nearly 869 SP in this location," said Zabuza. Naruto cocked his head. "What the hell are you going on about?" asked Naruto. "He's referring to the Soul Society, a place between the true heaven and earth. They're basically Kami's army. Anyway, in Soul Society they're divided into 13 squadrons. SPEES stands for spiritual power," said Kyuubi. "The fuzzball is right. 0 to 200 is what normal souls have. 201 to 650 is what normal soul reapers have. 651 to 900 is what stated officers 20 to 6 have. Having the most of them, 901 to 1200 is what 5 through 3 have. 1201 to 1450. Lieutenants have anywhere from 1451 to 1600. The captains, however, are damn scary. They have from 1601 on up. The strongest being Commander General Yamamoto-sama. His is at least at 2974, said Zabuza. "Yes, I remember that one. A good fighter at one point in time. I can easily recall when we had a tie in a battle. Anyway boy, it's time I depart for hell. I still have to run things down there, and I also need to find out about this darkness. I hope I will never see you again," said Kyuubi, disappearing. "Goodbye and good radiance," said Naruto. "Well, come on kid, I have to take you to the Soul Society," said Zabuza as a gate appeared. The gate opened and a butterfly flew out of it. The butterfly was not normal as it was black. Naruto and Zabuza stepped through the gate. Other side, it was only minutes that they stepped through. The minute they did, Naruto was met by the most wonderful sight he'd ever seen. It seemed they were in a large castle-like structure. Naruto could easily see a white tower off in the distance. "Hello Zabuza-san, I see you are here early. Are you in need of treatment? Asked a man with black spiked hair. No, just showing the brat here the 13 court guards. He's the one that blow off that huge power reading of 869 earlier, said Zabuza. The guard looked at Naruto and nearly laughed. This shrimp, said the man. Naruto, not like being called a shrimp, jumped up and slammed his right foot into the man's head, sending him into a wall. Don't call me a shrimp, you asshole, or I'll show you why I'm the great Naruto Uzumaki, said Naruto as they walked away. We have to go see old man Yamamoto, said Zabuza as he led him to the place where the commander general resided. Hope you like it. It took me a while to do. Now I killed Orochimaru for a reason that you'll see later. Don't worry, you'll see a few Naruto characters later. Now I have little time for writing, so I'm giving up Legend of Naruto, and I am Legend. To anyone who wants them, contact me first, as I want to be sure they're in good hands. Sasuke stood next to the fallen body of Naruto, and Sakura had her head on his chest, crying her heart out for her dead friend. Sasuke was barely holding back his tears, repressing grief, anger, and sadness. Damn it, Naruto, you loser. You promised me that you and I would kill Itachi together. You said you'd be Hokage. And just like that you die in order to save our cowardly asses. You should have run like I asked you to, yelled Sasuke as he finally fell down and started to pound the ground with his fists as hot tears fell from his eyes. Naruto, 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 come back to us, come back to me, please Naruto, please, said Sakura as she sobbed. Team 8 arrived at the sense with Anko not far behind them. When they saw Naruto lying on the ground, Hinata quickly ran over to him along with Anko, Shino, and Kiba right behind them. Anko looked at Naruto before she saw the heart in his hand. She quickly looked around and found the body of Orochimaru only 10 feet away. Anko rushed over to it and saw that the body was missing. The amazed her. Orochimaru had taken out some of the village's top Anbu, and yet a genin barely a year out of the academy killed him. That kid. He, a mere genin, killed one of the most feared missing nins from Konoha. Kid. I'll make sure you get put on the hero's memorial with high honors, thought Anko as she radioed the Anbu. Hinata was shaking Naruto, trying to wake him up after she didn't find a heartbeat. She was shaking with tears. Naruto, please wake up, I love you, you can't leave Naruto-kun. You just can't leave, said Hinata as her tears quickly fell. She'd put her head on Naruto's chest, but she ate his cheek. Kiba's blood was boiling over and Shino could barely control his bugs. Naruto, you bastard, you made Hinata, said Kiba as tears fell from his eyes. Kids, the Anbu need to talk to you, said Anko as the Black Ops stepped out the shadows. In Soul Society, Naruto and Zabuza stood in front of a door that was labeled First Division. When Zabuza knocked on the door, an old voice yelled, "Enter." When Zabuza opened the door, they were in a large room that could easily fit about 50 people. At the very end of the hall was an old man. He looked to be in his 60s, bald head with an X-shaped scar on it, long beard that nearly fell to the floor. He wore a black kimono and black hakama, and a white haori was draped over his shoulders. Come on boy, I need to take a good look at you, said Yamamoto. Naruto took a step forward and immediately felt as if a great amount of weight was being pressed down on him. He fell to one knee, but quickly got up and started to walk again, but with each step he took the weight became more. Soon he was sweating harder than he ever had before. What the hell is this? It feels as if my body is suffering beyond. Damn it, I can't even describe it, thought Naruto, taking another step before he stopped and fell on his knees. He was 3/4 of the way there, before he fell. He looked up into Yamamoto's eyes. Impressive boy. Most of the seated officers below 10 couldn't make it this close to me, said Yamamoto, quickly stopping his spiritual power, before he killed Naruto. Naruto stood and wiped away the sweat. What is it you want with me, old man? Asked Naruto, looking at Yamato without any fear. I would like you to join the 13 Court Guard, but you must go to the academy first. I heard of your outstanding power after you just died, and from what I can sense you will only grow stronger with time, said Yamamoto. Naruto was about to say yes when he remembered something. Yamamoto-sama, am I the only one who you picked up at the time? Asked Naruto. Yes, why? Asked Zabuza. Naruto's eyes widened in fear, before they narrowed in anger, and his power rose a bit. Enough to make Zabuza whistle. The bastard who killed me is gone, yelled Naruto. What was the name of the man who killed you? asked Yamamoto, seeming interested. His name was Orochimaru. The snake in the ing grass did something to my seal that killed me, but before I died I took him with me. Naruto Uzumaki don't take shit from no one, said Naruto, crossing his arms. Indeed, Uzumaki-san. Zabuza, take Naruto to the academy. You'll be residing in dorm room 105A. I have to talk to the Central 46, said Yamamoto. Alright, follow me, brat, said Zabuza, leading him out. Once Naruto was gone, Yamamoto was worried. He was probably already a hollow before we got to him, but how can that be? Asked Yamamoto. With Zabuza and Naruto and Zabuza walked along the halls until something bumped into Naruto. When Naruto landed on the ground, he looked up to see a young girl about his age on top of him. She had long blue hair, beautiful brown eyes, and a rounded face. She wore a black suit that looked like a ninja owned it. Oh, I'm sorry, said the girl, getting off Naruto with a crimson blush on her face. It's fine. It was my fault anyway, said Naruto, trying to hide his own blush. Sorry, I was running late for a meeting with Yoruichi-han, said the girl, about to take off. Hey, before you go, what is your name? I'm Naruto, asked Naruto, making the girl blush as she looked at him again. Soifun, said the girl, blushing before taking off. Let's go, brat, said Zabuza. It took them a few minutes to reach the academy, but when they entered no one was around. It was just a big courtyard devoid of life. Don't worry, brat, you have a few days before the start of a new semester, said Zabuza, leading Naruto to the dorms. When they got to Naruto's dorm, it was empty. There were 4 bedrooms, 4 desks, a table, and a few couches. Good luck, brat, you'll need it, said Zabuza, disappearing in a flash. I'd better get to sleep, said Naruto before taking the room on the far right. The room was blue and had 1 small bed. Naruto also saw a dresser and wondered if the Kyuubi leaving had any effects on him. He walked over to a full-length mirror and looked at himself. Now he knew why Soifun blushed. He lost some of his baby fat, giving him a more mature look. His hair was longer and it was no longer going in all directions, it just fell down to his shoulders. The color also changed to blonde with red bangs. His whisker marks were still there. His orange jumpsuit was no more, but he now wore a gray kimono top and gray hakama pants. Naruto laid down and fell into a dreamless sleep. Next morning, Naruto heard voices, PF people. Thinking he was still in the village, he leapt up and opened the door as quickly and silently as possible. Once he did, he found 3 people in the living area. Using his stealth skills, he easily snuck up on the first one that he easily grabbed around the neck. What the hell? Yelled the person as they flipped Naruto over Thea's shoulder, making him land on his feet. Naruto spun around quickly and hit the person with a right hook, making the person fell to the ground. Naruto quickly put a knee on the person's chest and held his palm in a ready-to-kill position that Kakashi taught him. He was about to deliver the fatal blow when a voice stopped him. Hey, stop it, before you really hurt him, came a voice from the right. Naruto looked to the right to find 2 girls there. The first was a girl about his age. She stood at 4 feet 11, brown eyes, black hair in a bun with a few bangs hanging down around the sides, and her S were at least C-cup, wearing a blue kimono. Next to her stood a woman who looked around 17, standing at 5 feet 4.5, raven blue hair that's up in ponytail, sharp purple eyes. Her assets were at least C-cup as well. She wore a purple kimono that brought out the beauty in her eyes, and oval-shaped glasses only brought out a very exotic look in her. Can you get off me now? You're hurting my ribs, buddy, asked the person that Naruto was on. He looked down and saw a man about 18, with weird tattoos above his eyes, red hair in a high ponytail, black eyes, standing about 6 feet 2, wearing a brown kimono. Naruto got off the man and helped him up, just now noticing that he stood about 3 inches shorter than the man. Sorry. Old reflex. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, said Naruto, extending his hand. The little girl walked up and blushed as she looked at Naruto as she took his hand. My name is Momo Hinamori. Nice to meet you, Naruto-kun, said the girl as she backed up after shaking his hand. I'm Nanao Eyes. Nice to meet you, Naruto-san, said the other girl, blushing a bit as she looked at him. The man grabbed Naruto's arm and hit him in the gut, making Naruto fall on the ground, before helping him up. Renji Abarai. Now we're even, pal, said the red-haired man as both he and Naruto smiled at each other. Okay, now that that's out of the way, how about we get to know each other better, said Naruto, taking a seat on the couch. The others soon followed and they began to talk well into the night. With Orochimaru. Orochimaru woke up in front of a shadow that made him want to run. "Don't worry. I won't harm you, as a matter of fact I want to offer you something," said the shadow. Orochimaru smirked as he heard this. "I'm all ears," started Orochimaru. "I have no name, but you may call me Nexus," came the voice. "All right, Nexus-sama," said Orochimaru as he was enveloped by the shadows. It was the first day of the academy and Naruto was feeling excited. Just the other day Nanao and Momo pulled his hair into a ponytail. He told them to leave it alone, but they wouldn't hear of it as his hair fell covering his pretty eyes, or at least they say. Naruto and Nanao sat in the living area drinking tea. Naruto wore a white kimono with blue strips lining the arms, and blue hakimas. Nanao wore similar clothes, but red. "Nanao-chan, tell me, do you have any family outside in the Rukan district?" asked Naruto. In the last few days Naruto discovered that the Rukan district was divided into 80 sectors, 80 being the worst. Then there was the fact that there was also north, southeast and west parts to the Rukan district, making 320 sectors in all. "Well, Naruto-san, I grew up in West Rukan Area 5. It was peaceful and I lived with my surrogate mother and sister. My sister and I loved each other deeply to the point we would kill for the other. I could never let something happen to her, even if it cost me my life," said Nanao. Naruto smiled. "You're lucky, and please just Naruto or Naruto-kun. I've only been dead a week, so I still never got to know family, but I found it in my most friends," said Naruto, making Nanao nearly choke on her tea. "Only a week? My word. You must have some truly powerful spiritual power in order to come straight to the academy after only a week of death. I've been dead for about 10 years now," said Nanao. "Wow, you a really good-looking 27-year-old woman," said Naruto, smiling. Nanao blushed. "Baka," said Nanao as Naruto started to laugh. Renji and Momo walked out their rooms wearing their academy clothes. Momo put her hair up into 2 small pigtails, while Renji looked the same. Once they walked out their dorm, Naruto locked the dorm and they ran to their first class, history. Midday. It was already the afternoon and they were beat. History turned out to be a 2-hour class. After history they got an hour break and then it was into theory for an hour. Naruto sat under a tree with Nanao sitting next to him and Renji sitting in a tree with Momo laying in the grass. "Man, this sucks. I thought they were going to teach us to fight, not sit around and take notes," said Renji, taking a leaf off the breech and putting it in his mouth. "Renji, shut the hell up and enjoy the little R&R we have," said Naruto, closing his eyes as Renji glared at him. "Well, Renji-san, if it makes you feel any better, the rest of the day is hand-to-hand, Zenjutsu, and Kido. Each an hour long. We'll be back at the dorm before you know it," said Nanao, taking off her glasses and wiping them. "Renji-kun, what do you think you'll be best at?" asked Momo. Renji scratched his head. "Well, Momo, I think it will be Zenjutsu, as I was always a good fighter with a sword," said Renji just as the bell rang. Renji jumped out the tree and landed next to Naruto. "Let's go. I think we have to go to class 1. Think it's Kido," said Naruto. They took off at a dead run, wanting to get good seats. In class. "All right students, this is Kido class. For the next year you will only be able to learn 3 spells, 2 binding and 1 destructive. Today we're going to talk about the theory behind Kido and the ways they can be used in battle," said the teacher. Naruto hit his head on the desk as Momo and Nanao looked at him. "Not more theory," said Naruto. In the upmost corner of the room a girl about 4 feet 10, raven black hair, large purple eyes, and B-cup assets wearing a girl's uniform looked at him. "That guy is interesting, almost as cool as Renji," thought the girl. In hand-to-hand class. The class was dojo-like and was well-rounded. The teacher was a large man and next to him stood a third-year academy student with a cocky smirk on his face. "Hello students. This is hand-to-hand class. I'm not like all those other teachers and go on and on about theory. I'm more practical, so I asked third-year Gendo Saku to come in and show some moves. He is the best fighter of the third years," said the teacher. The man got into what looked like a light stance and started to demonstrate moves until Naruto stood up. "Yes, what is it, youngster?" asked Gendo arrogantly. "You look like you couldn't beat your way out of a wet paper bag. I could kick your ass with my eyes closed," said Naruto, making most of the students back up. The teacher smiled. I'd like to see that. What's your name? Said the teacher. Uzumaki, Naruto, said Naruto bowing. Gendo went red with anger. Then step up or shut up. I don't have all day, said Gendo. Naruto got into a fighting stance, before closing his eyes. Gendo charged only to find himself in a wall the next second. He quickly got out the wall only to have a heavy punch land in his gut, knocking him out. You're the best at hand-to-hand. I pray we never have to face an army, said Naruto, opening his eyes as the teacher walked up to Naruto. Not bad, Uzumaki. Do you remember what you did in life? Asked the teacher. Everyone started to whisper. Renji and Momo told him it was an unspoken law that when you resided in Soul Society your former life didn't matter. That and it was considered rude to ask people about their lives. You could, but it was still rude. I was a warrior of sorts, said Naruto, crossing his arms, before he smirked. Now that chump is out, Renji, get up and get your ass over here. Last time we fought I snuck up on you. I want a straight fight, said Naruto. Renji jumped up and smirked before cracking his knuckles. Renji and Naruto both got into fighting styles that looked like they came from the streets, which they did. Renji was the first to charge. Naruto throw a punch that Renji caught. Renji flipped Naruto over his shoulder, making Naruto land on his back. Naruto throw a kick out, hitting Renji in his chin. They both got right back at it, only for the teacher to stop him. You're both very good fighters, but you're more brawlers than anything else, and at times that's the best hand-to-hand style, but sometimes it helps to have real training, said the teacher, smiling at them. I want the rest of you to pair up and spar until the bell rings, said the teacher. As the students paired up. When the bell rung, Nanao and Momo were by Renji and Naruto's sides in minutes with pissed-off looks on their faces. What's wrong? Asked Naruto. What's wrong is the guys who we paired up with were more interested in copying feels, said Nanao, pointing to two guys who were laughing. They both had black hair in old samurai styles, but one was as tall as Renji while the other was only as tall as 5 feet 9 inches. Don't worry about them. They try it again and I'll kick their asses, said Naruto. Do you mean it, Naruto-kun? Asked Momo. Naruto patted her head. I promise, Momo-chan, said Naruto. Come on, we only have one more class, said Nanao, smiling at her friends. They took off down the halls to the sword dojo. One in the dojo they saw a captain there, and it was Captain Yamamoto standing behind a sword. Welcome to your last class of the day. The sword in front of me is called the Blade of Release. It will force you to communicate with your inner spirit and manifest into your Shikai. We will call you one at a time to pick up the sword. After that you shall learn to manifest it in your 5th year, said Yamamoto. Uzumaki. Naruto, said the teacher. Naruto walked up to Yamamoto and bowed before putting his hand on the sword and unsheathing it. Instantly everyone felt his power as it started to push down on people. The blade started to glow a bright blue and white color before a huge gust of wind shot out from the 4 counters of the room, surrounding Naruto in a tornado. Naruto shut his eyes and soon it ended. Naruto opened his eyes to find himself looking at a mountain from a grassy hill. In the center of the field was a small lake, surrounding the field was a few trees. I don't think I'm in the academy, said Naruto, looking at the mountain in awe. What gave it away? Came a voice from behind Naruto. Sarutobi and Rukia stood in front of Naruto's dead body, both with saddened looks. Rukia bent down and ruffled Naruto's hair, while tears fell out his eyes. Naruto, I'm sorry I wasn't there for you more. You were the son I always wanted. I'm sorry, said Rukia as he stood. Sarutobi was angered, sad and relieved at the same time. Angered that Orochimaru had somehow killed the boy who was like a grandson to him, and the council would have a field day with this. Sad that Naruto was dead, and relieved that Naruto was in a better place, and even more so that he went out like the hero he was. Naruto, you would have made an excellent Hokage someday, said Sarutobi. In the field, Naruto had a look of awe on his face. He turned around only to find himself staring at a very large sliver wolf, but the strange thing about this wolf was that it had large wings. The wolf was laying down and yawning as if it was bored to death. Where the hell are we and who the hell are you? Asked Naruto. In order, your mind. Don't start asking questions that I can't answer, boy, because I don't want to waste energy. The seal altered your mind so it would be more fit to handle the Kyuubi at the time. Once the QB left your mind it reverted to its original state. I don't know how and I don't give a damn. As for my name, it won't matter because you can't hear my name at this time boy, said the wolf yawning again. You seem a bit lazy for a wolf, said Naruto as the wolf jumped up and pined Naruto to the ground. Lazy I may be, but I could still kick your ass, said the wolf baring its teeth at Naruto who only glared at him. I get it Fuzzy, but I have to go, said Naruto as the winged wolf led him up. Don't worry about a thing. I have a feeling you and I are going to be good pals real fast, said the wolf as Naruto disappeared. In Academy, Naruto opened his eyes to see everyone staring at him. Yamamoto's cane was on the ground and many people had sweat running down their faces. The girl from before was at the front of the class and was breathing heavily. By Kami-sama, this boy has power, more so than I would have thought possible for someone like him. Who are you Uzumaki Naruto, thought the short girl. Naruto put the sword down only to fall down onto one knee. I guess it takes a lot more power than anyone thought, said Naruto before passing out. Naruto-kun, said Momo and Nanao running up to as if they were never affected by his power. Aiz-san Hinamori-san, Abarai-san take him to the 4th Division Squad Station and have him treated for injuries, said Yamamoto. Yes Commander General, said Renji picking Naruto up and putting him over his shoulder before taking off. In the 4th Division Squad Station, as the prone body of Naruto started to stir he heard the sound of muffled voices coming from close by. He knew that he couldn't open his eyes as they stung. How is the brat? Asked a heavy voice that Naruto recognized as Zabuza's. He's doing fine, but with the kind of power he put out he should be out for a while, said a voice Naruto recognized but couldn't place. You know I heal fast, said Naruto finally opening his eyes. The first sight that greeted him was a ceiling. He turned his head to see 4 people standing near the doorway. One was Zabuza and the other was Nanao. The other people were people Naruto never saw before. The first was a woman who looked to be in her early 20s with long black hair braided in front of her, light gray eyes, even with the brain in front of her Naruto could tell her eyes were as large as Tsunade. She wore the clothes of a captain, but her sword was strapped to her side. The next person looked like Haku only the hair was in 2 ponytails, she had a nice C-cup bust, she wore the robes of a soul reaper and her sword was at her side. Who are you two? Asked Naruto standing up. I'm Captain Retsu Unohana of the 4th Squadron Relief Division, said the woman with the long braid in front. I'm surprised that you don't remember me Naruto-kun, but I did tell you I was a boy, said the girl with a smile. Naruto had a shocked look on his face, before he rushed her and hugged her to death. Haku, Kami-sama, it's good to see you, said Naruto. Naruto-kun that's all well and good, but you and your friend here have to return to the dorms. Yamamoto said to tell you that, said Zabuza. Alright I'll see you around Haku-chan, said Naruto. Bye-bye, said Haku waving at Naruto as he and Nanao left. Time skip. 7 months later. In the last few months of class Naruto, Renji, Momo, and Nanao became tops in their class. Naruto and Renji tied for tops in hand-to-hand, Momo and Nanao tied for tops in Kido with Naruto following closely behind, and Naruto was tops in Zenjutsu with Renji and a boy named Kira tied for second. During his free time he visited Haku, and occasionally meet up with Soifun who was a good friend of Haku's. He also meet Rukia a girl Renji was good friends with, almost to the point of love, but on a brotherly sisterly basis. The academy was about to let out for about 1 month and then resume classes, but everyone would be in their next year. But right now Naruto didn't care about that, he wanted to train. While he was good, he was nowhere near the level he wanted to be at. He also wanted to learn more about his partner as he called his inner spirit. Naruto also was looking up history as to make himself more aware of future hollows he might encounter, but one name always came up in his studies, that name was Nexus. Naruto knew that he must have been powerful, but it never gave any clear indication as to who it was, only that he was one of the most powerful hollows to ever exist in known history. Naruto was brought out of his thoughts as someone slipped their hands over his eyes. He smiled as he knew those soft hands anywhere. Hello Nanao-chan, said Naruto as said person removed their hands. I thought you'd never guess right, said Nanao smiling at Naruto. Naruto and Nanao had grown rather close during their time together. Renji often joked about when the wedding was and if any kids were on the way. Nanao blushed and always pulled a hammer from somewhere and bashed his brains in. Naruto hoped to never get her mad. He also grew close to Momo, and anytime a guy tried to get fresh with her, Naruto or Renji would send them packing. Most of the time Naruto and Renji just jumped them. Safety in numbers, right? Naruto stood up and walked over to the door, but not before picking up a practice sword he borrowed from the academy. Renji and Momo left a while back as they went to the places they lived away from the dorm. Nanao offered Naruto a place to stay and he accepted, which made her happy. "Come on Nanao-chan," said Naruto. "All right Foxy-chan," said Nanao, using the nickname she and Momo gave him as a joke one time. They both took off to West Rukan 5. In West Rukan 5, Nanao and Naruto walked around West Rukan with Nanao getting greeting from many people. Naruto himself was getting welcomed and it made him feel like he was where he truly belonged. They soon came up to a small shack and they saw a woman who looked to be in her mid-40s playing with a girl who looked to be in her early teens. "Ka-san, Hikaru-chan," said Nanao as the young girl rushed up to Nanao and hugged her. "Nanao-ne-chan, it's good to see you again," said Hikaru. "Likewise Hikaru-chan," said Nanao. "Nanao-chan, who is this young man you brought with you? A boyfriend I hope," said the older woman with a heart-filled laugh. Nanao and Naruto both blushed. "No ma'am, nothing like that. I'm Nanao's dorm mate and friend. I'm Naruto Uzumaki," said Naruto. "Well Naruto-san, I'm Sarah, but most everybody calls me Ka-san," said the woman. "All right Sarah-san," said Naruto. It was going to be a good month for Nanao and Naruto. It was a bright day at the academy as the 5th year, advanced class were very excited for 2 reasons. The first was that in about 2 days' time they would go to the human world and fight dummy hollows for practice. The second reason was that they would manifest their Zanpakuto at the end of the year. The most excited people were Renji and Naruto, who had taken to sparring every day to increase their overall skills. Naruto and Renji stood by a tree just talking about nonsense. Over the years Naruto and Renji had become like brothers, and almost never strayed far from each other. They were also very protective of Momo and Nanao. Momo, who had incredibly shy, now was more outgoing and was considered to be one of the most beautiful girls in the academy. She also grew a bit taller, reaching 5 feet 3 inches. Nanao, who was a bit strict at times, but always had a smile on her face and almost never yelled at anyone, unless they dissevered it. Nanao could often be seen with either Momo or Naruto and sometimes Renji when he wasn't showing off. Naruto also grew to be 6 feet 3 inches, he rarely kept his hair in a ponytail nowadays, unless Momo or Nanao pulled his hair into one. Renji and Rukia had a bit of a falling out only about a year ago. Renji never said what it was about, but none of them ever pressed for answers, he would tell them when he was ready. Naruto knew it had something to do with her being adopted into the Kuchiki clan, but he held his tune on the matter as it was Renji's private business and Naruto had no right to interfere in it. A bell started to ring, but it was not an ordinary bell, it was the bell signaling a captain was on the way. Naruto and Renji quickly stood and ran to the grand courtyard in order to get a good view of things. Once they arrived they saw a few open spots and ran over to them. Naruto heard Momo trying to push her way through the crowd and only chuckled as she was pushed a little and fell down onto the road. She quickly got up in time to see the captain walk down the center. Naruto looked and nearly froze at the sight of the 2 men walking down the center. The first was a man who had silver hair and a fox-like expression on his face. He stood at nearly 6 feet 0 inches, he also wore the patch of the 5th Squad Lieutenant. The other man wore the Haori of the 5th Division Captain, he also wore glasses and stood about 5 feet 10 inches, brown hair, but it seemed his power was undeniable, he also looked like he was thinking of everything in advance. As soon as both men were in Naruto's sight he felt that something was very wrong with those two, they seemed to carry themselves differently than any other captain Naruto had met. Naruto balled up his fists in an attempt to stop the small feeling of fear that welled up in him. "Naruto-kun, are you alright?" asked Momo, looking at her friend who looked like he about to freak out for some reason or another. Momo knew Naruto almost as well as their other Drians and had almost never seen him like this. "I'm fine Momo-chan, I think it's time we go. We leave early tomorrow remember," said Naruto smiling at her as Momo ran off saying she still needed to pack. Naruto, why did you say that? Momo is the most organized of the three of us, asked Renji as Naruto started to walk away. Renji, listen carefully. I don't like those two. Something felt wired about them, said Naruto stopping and turning to Renji. Wired? How? Asked Renji stopping as well. I don't know, but in my life I was a person who had to constantly watch my back in my own hometown. I developed a way to read people. I'm not sure why, but be careful if you make it to the 5th division and be more so around the captain, said Naruto in the most serious way. Renji, no, Naruto was never truly serious, and when he was it meant listen to him. Alright Naruto, but let's head back to our dorm and pack for our trip, said Renji. They turned and walked to the dorm, and once they reached it they heard a conversation between Momo and Nanao and decided to hang back and listen in. In the room, Nanao was sitting on the couch and Momo was making tea. Nanao-chan, do you like Naruto-kun? Asked Momo, making Nanao look at her. Momo-chan, what brought that on? Asked Nanao looking at her friend surprised. Momo was a quiet person by nature, and anytime relationships were brought up she closed up. I wanted to know, because you and Naruto-kun seem closer than anyone I've met, said Momo. Nanao smiled a bit. Momo-chan, I'm not sure how to answer you. I have deep feelings for Naruto-kun, but I'm not sure how it would work out. I mean, we could try and be a couple, but if it fails it may ruin our friendship and I don't want to take the chance, said Nanao with a sigh. I see, said Momo. Naruto and Renji walked in after hearing the whole conversation. Hey Nanao, you want to go for a walk? It's a very lovely time of year, said Naruto as he had 100 thoughts racing through his mind after hearing what Nanao said. Sure Naruto-kun, said Nanao walking out ahead of Naruto. Naruto and Nanao walked around a small garden that was used for meditation. They walked in a humble silence until Nanao spoke. Naruto-kun, what do you see in me, as a person? Asked Nanao stopping and looking into Naruto's eyes. I see a strong, smart, and beautiful woman who is not afraid of anything, said Naruto, moving a strand of stray hair out of her face. Thank you for being honest, Naruto-kun. I always valued your opinion, said Nanao, reaching up on her toes and ing Naruto on the cheek, before running off. Nanao, said Naruto in a quiet voice. A day later, Grand Courtyard. Naruto, Momo, and Renji stood together with their swords strapped to their left sides. They had been assigned to be Team 6 out of 15. The next thing they know they saw 3 people come up and intendance themselves as 6th years. The boy in the enter was obviously the leader. He stood at the same height as Naruto, black spiky hair, and a 69 on his left cheek. Naruto knew of this man. His name was Shuhei Hisagi. He had been offered the position of lieutenant upon graduation from the academy. If that didn't speak volumes of his skills, Naruto once took him on in a Zenjutsu match and it ended in a draw, but that was in Naruto's 3rd year. He had no clue how another battle between them would turn out. Alright, now that you are in your groups, we'll be heading to an oil rig, about 20 miles of the coast of South Africa. There we have set up a training area where every team will kill dummy hollows. Once every team has killed at least one, we'll meet in the central area and return to the Grand Court. Is that clear? Said Hisagi. Yes Hisagi-senpai, said everyone. Good. Open the gate, said Hisagi. On the rig 40 minutes later. The air was cool and it would have been very relaxing if not for the fact that Renji was just sent flying by Hollow. Naruto caught Renji by the arm and helped him land on the rig upper part. Thanks Naruto, said Renji. No problem brother, let's do number 31, said Naruto. Right, said Renji. Ye Lord, mask of blood and flesh, all creation, flutter of wings, ye who bears the name of man. Inferno and pandemonium. The sea barrier surges, march on to the south. Kido 31 red flame cannon. Yelled Renji and Naruto at the same time. A red fireball shot out both their hands and went straight for the hollow. The hollow jumped into the air. Momo now, while you have a clear shot. Yelled Naruto. Ye Lord, mask of flesh and bone, flutter of wings, ye who bears the name of man. Truth and temperance, upon this sinless wall of dreams unleash but slightly the wrath of your claws. Kido 33 blue flame, crash down. yelled Momo, firing a ball of blue flames from her left palm and hitting the hollow in the back. The hollow fell to the ground only for Renji and Naruto to rush up to it and cut in 4 pieces. In the shape of an X. "Wow, you guys are amazing," said Momo, running up to her friends. Naruto ruffled her hair while smiling at her. "You were amazing too, Momo-chan." "As were you, Renji," said Naruto. "Of course we're good, we're the best of the advanced class, and I'm the best of the best," said Renji, pointing to himself with his sword over his shoulder and a shit-eating grin on his face. Momo and Naruto began to laugh at their red-haired friend, who joined in only moments later. After they were through laughing, they made their way back to the central part until Momo looked up at the sky. She shrugged and continued on. Just before they met up with the others, they heard screams and soon students ran their way. "What the hell?" yelled Naruto as he took off in the direction that the others came from, with Renji and Momo right behind him. When they arrived, they saw a gorilla-headed ass hollow who had Hisagi on his last legs. Hisagi had his blade in front of him ready for his next attack, only for Naruto and Renji to parry it, and Momo to stand in the middle with her hands out. "Ye Lord, mask of flesh and bone, flutter of wings, ye who bears the name of man. Truth and temperance, upon this sinless wall of dreams unleash but slightly the wrath of your claws." Keto 33 blue flame crash down, yelled Momo, unleashing a blast that hit the hollow dead in its chest. The hollow was sent back a bit. That gave them the chance to run. They turned to the right and then took a path to the left, hopping to get some kind of distance between themselves and the hollow. "Hey Hisagi-senpai, how in the hell did a hollow that big get in here? I thought we had a barrier squad here," yelled Naruto, running right behind Momo. "Don't know, but I've already signaled Soul Society to send in some people to help us out," said Hisagi as they stopped. The air around them shimmered a bit and soon more than a dozen hollows could be seen. They were all pretty big. Momo dropped her sword in fear and had a few tears running her face. Renji was shaking, but keep a firm hand on his blade. "I don't think they going to make it in time to help us out, senpai," said Naruto, putting his sword in a ready stance. "Damn it, this is not good. If only I could use my real Zanpakuto and my Shikai. If only to protect Renji and Momo," thought Naruto. "About time you found your reason for fighting, boy. You're finally ready to manifest and hear my name, boy. 2 birds with 1 stone. That speaks volumes about you. Listen closely, boy. My name is," said the wolf. Naruto slammed his blade into the ground, making the hollows laugh. "It seems at least one of them have sense, my friends," came the voice of the gorilla-headed hollow. "No, I just have the power to do what I must, to protect the ones I care for the most," said Naruto as held out his arm. A bluish energy started to form into a long narrow shape. When the energy broke, it was in the shape of a normal Zanpakuto, but the sheath was blue, the guard was in the shape of a 3-pointed star, and the hilt was wrapped in blue. Naruto pulled the blade and it resembled a normal katana. "Let the 4 winds howl, Yaseke's wild winds," yelled Naruto. "Let the 4 winds howl, Yaseke's wild winds," said Naruto, holding his sword in the air and spinning it around over his head. The blade lengthened to be a good 5 feet long and a good 8 inches in width. The blade was now double-sided and held a wind-like pattern on it. The hilt was still blue, but now it was a good 3 feet long, and on the very bottom of it was a crescent moon-shaped blade. Hisagi looked in awe at Naruto and his blade. "This is insane. No one has ever manifested their Zanpakuto and unlocked the Shikai in one go. If this is part of his true power, then he's likely to be a lieutenant in no time," thought Hisagi. Naruto held Yaseke's over his shoulder. "Renji, watch Momo, while I deal with this trash," said Naruto as he began to spin the blade over his head at a fast pace. Stopped spinning it as he blasted his spiritual power to its limit. Naruto started to walk close only to be stopped by Momo, who grabbed his arm. Naruto looked and saw tears falling faster than before. "Naruto, please, be careful," said Momo in sobs. "Don't worry, Momo, I'll protect you and I'll be alright, that's a promise," said Naruto, patting her head. "So the little Reaper is censored for his. Kill her and then take his head," yelled the gorilla-headed hollow. "Note that it's spelled like this on purpose." A hollow with a bat-like face flew at Momo only to find his way blocked by something. "What the hell?" said the bat-faced hollow. "It's not nice to interrupt a moment like that, between 2 friends," said Naruto, glaring at the bat-faced hollow. Naruto moved Yaseke's around in a circle and the bat-like hollow was getting nervous. Naruto jumped into the air and the strangest thing happened. For a split second it looked like he had silver hawk-like wings come out of his back. The hollow was destroyed the next moment. The hollows all looked up and saw Naruto standing in the air with his blade over his shoulders. 3 hollows fired energy blasts at Naruto only for them to hit a shield of wind, but the wind came from his back, almost like wings. Naruto held Yaseke's above his head and brought it down with all the force he could muster. A small cyclone came out off the blade and smashed into most of the hollows, destroying them. Naruto flew back to his friends and nearly collapsed. Yaseke's reverted back to its sealed form. "Naruto-kun, are you alright?" asked Momo, putting his head on her lap. "Sorry for worrying you, Momo-chan, but I'm almost out of energy and a few more hollows are coming." "I'm sorry I couldn't protect you," said Naruto. Nearly 20 hollows appeared and prepared to kill until a blade appeared out of nowhere and shattered a mask. Naruto, Renji, Momo, and Hisagi looked and saw the 5th squad captain and his lieutenant. "Captain Aizen, Lieutenant Jin," said Hisagi. "Sorry we're late. Are you guys alright?" asked Aizen. "Yes sir. We're fine thanks to Naruto. He manifested his Zanpakuro and unlocked his Shikai in one go," said Renji. "Understood, we'll talk about this later," said Aizen. "Oh my, there certainly are a lot of you scum. Pierce his flesh, Shinso," said Jin, making his blade shoot out and strike hollows far away. He then started to swing it until there were only 2 hollows. One charged Aizen only to be destroyed by a mere push. The last hollow was about to flee only for Naruto to get behind it and destroy most of the body, leaving it immobilized. "Alright scum, I have a few questions, answer them and I may let you live," said Naruto. The hollow nodded. "How did you get past the barrier squad?" asked Naruto. "With the power of my master Nexus, ha ha ha," said the hollow. "Alright, that name is starting to piss me off." "Who is Nexus?" said Naruto, putting his sword to the hollow's mask. "And friend, you'd better answer quickly. As far as you scum reapers know, Nexus was a powerful hollow at one point in time, but that's only the tip of the iceberg. The hollow was cut off as a blast of energy hit it in the mask, destroying it." "Where the hell did that come from?" yelled Naruto, looking around and then at the sky. "Damn it, I was close to finding out something important," thought Naruto. "We should return to Soul Society," said Aizen. "Yes, Aizen-sama," said everyone, but Naruto, who still didn't trust the man. "Hidden behind a cloud. That was close. Nexus-sama will not be pleased that one of his minions revolves he lives. Oh well, it's his troops that will suffer his wrath," said a man who looked like Orochimaru. A black vortex opened up and there was nothing left. Back in Soul Society a week later, everyone was talking about what Naruto had done. He instantly became one of the favorites to become a lieutenant. That didn't save Naruto from Nanao though. Once she found out what happened, she was pissed the hell off. It was on that day that Naruto learned not to get on Nanao's bad side. Naruto didn't care right now though. It was a beautiful night and Naruto was content with walking under the sakura petals that fell. He wanted to relax and get his thoughts right, that is until he heard crying. Naruto rushed over to where he heard the sound and saw Soifun on the ground with her hands over her face. "Soifun," said Naruto, walking up to her and kneeling next to her. "Naruto-kun, Yoruichi-sama left yesterday," said Soifun, crying even harder. Soifun and Naruto had a bit of a wired relationship. Naruto would always be there to listen and lend a shoulder to her when training got hard. They also trained together. She had helped him develop the first 2 stages of the Shunpo. "Shish, calm down a bit and explain it to me," said Naruto. Soifun nodded and looked at him in the eye. "Yesterday around noon, I sent a letter to Yoruichi-sama telling I needed to speak to her. When she arrived here I told her that I loved her, with all my heart and soul. She smiled at me and said she loved me as well. She told me to always hold on to the ones I loved. I didn't understand, but when I went to see her today, she was gone, no one knew where she was. It was announced only a few hours ago that she has been labeled as a deserter and I am to take her place as captain. I'm so confused right now," said Soifun between sobs, before grabbing Naruto into a fierce hug. "Soifun, she must have had a good reason for leaving, but if you want I'll stay here and support you," said Naruto as he hugged her back. "You won't leave me, will you, Naruto-kun?" I don't want to lose anyone else that's important to me, said Soifin with tears running down her face. I promise I'm not going anywhere, said Naruto as Soifin leaned up and ed him on the cheek. Thank you, said Soifin. They spent the rest of the night in an embrace. 1 month later, things around Shirati had gone wired. The captains of squads 2, 3, 7, 9, 10, 11, and 12 had all either vanished or disappeared. All of the divisions had been replaced by a new captain except the 10, so the vice-captain Rengoku Masumoto would be running it for the time being. Squad 2's new captain was Soifin, Squad 3's was surprisingly Jin, Squad 7's was a hulking man named Sajin who had his head covered, SP the only thing you could really see were his eyes. Squad 9's captain was a blind man named Konami, Squad 11 got a man named Zaraki Kenpachi, and Squad 12 got one of the freakiest captains anyone had ever seen. His name was Mayuri Kuretsuchi. All captains and stand-ins are to state their names for the record. 1st Division Captain and Commander General Shigekuni Yamamoto Genryusai. 2nd Division and leader of the Stealth Force Soifin. 3rd Division Captain Jin Ichimaru, said Jin. 4th Division Captain Retsu Unohana, said Unohana. 5th Division Captain Aizen Sosuke, said Aizen. 6th Division Captain Byakuya Kuchiki, said a man who looked to be a noble. 7th Division Captain Sajin, said the hulking man. 8th Division Captain Shunsui Kiraku, said a man with a pink haori over his captain's haori. 9th Division Captain Konami Tosen, said a blind man. 10th Division Lieutenant Rengoku Masumoto, said a very busty woman with orange hair. 11th Division Captain Zaraki Kenpachi, said a man with spiked hair with bells in it. 12th Division Captain Mayuri Kuretsuchi, said a freak of nature. 13th Division Lieutenant Kaien Shiba, said a man with purple hair. Know that we are all gathered. It is time to select the gradates who made the cut and may be accepted into the Gote 13, said Yamamoto. Orochimaru was bowed in front of Nexus. Orochimaru had yet to see his face, but that didn't matter to Orochimaru. Nexus had kept his end of the bargain, so Orochimaru would keep his, until he felt he didn't need to. Orochimaru now had a sword strapped to his side that resembled a snake. Orochimaru also wore a black cloak, purple pants, and black boots. On the back of the cloak was a skull and blade that was pointed down. That was Nexus's sign. Nexus-sama, may I ask you what is your goal? Asked Orochimaru. My goal is simple, but I do not yet trust you with this information. For now all you have to do is what I say. We must lay low for now, because a few of the more feral hollows would kill us if they know we are here. We must also watch out for the Manos classes. Why is that, Nexus-sama? You are easily the most powerful hollow, said Orochimaru. Even I cannot strike down 100,000 Manos class hollows without nearly dying, said Nexus. Understandable. Since I have nothing to do I shall go and experiment on some things, said Orochimaru, disappearing in a black vortex. In Soul Society, it had been determined that nearly 300 students had not made the cut and were told to leave back to Rukin. Only 50 students made it into the Soul Reaper ranks. The most they had to ever graduate had been about 500, and that was about 40 years ago. Most of the students had been sorted into divisions based on what they were good at. The only ones left were Nanao, Momo, Renji, Rukia, Kira, and Naruto. Let us sort Nanao into a division. Her report says she is good at Kido, and her power level is 1000, making her seated officer material, said Yamamoto. With power like that she could be a captain in no time, but all my division's seats are full, said Rengiku. I need an officer for my 3rd seat right now, said Shunsui. Taking a swig of sake. Very well, Nanao will be placed in Squad 8. Are there any objections? Asked Yamamoto. When none came he contained. Rukia Kuchiki has already been placed in the 13th division, so we can skip her. Aizen stepped forward. Sir, if I may, I would like Kira, Momo, Renji and Naruto in my division. They have shown the ability to work well as a team, and that is all I ask for the members of my division, said Aizen. I'm sorry Aizen, but I'll take Kira from you. I need a lieutenant and he fits the bill. Sure, I may have to train him up a bit as he's only as strong as a 4th seat right now, but soon he'll be able to take on any lieutenant with twice his training, said Jin. Very well, Jin can have Kira, and Aizen can have the rest unless there is an objection, said Yamamoto. Sir, I would like Uzumaki-san in my division, said Soifun, shocking everyone. She had only taken in 3 people throughout the whole deal. May I ask why? Said Yamamoto. My division is still in utter chaos, as Yoruichi was like a big sister to everyone in the division. It would be a big help if we had a familiar face around to help stabilize things, as everyone knows Naruto, said Soifun. Granted. Meeting adjourned, said Yamamoto. Second Division. Naruto sat in Soifun's office with 3 other excited idiots who were happy to work under a babe like Soifun. Naruto got up and sat in her chair before laying his head down. The other 3 looked at him like he was crazy. What the hell are you thinking? Captain Soifun will kill you for sitting in her seat, said a large man with large beads around his neck. He was Marekio Omeda, a spoiled brat from the Omeda clan. Naruto would admit he was pretty skillful, but he would get his ass beat by just about anyone. Hey fatso, blow it out your ass, said Naruto, laughing as Omeda's face went red. Omeda grabbed the hilt of his sword and was about to draw it when the door opened and Soifun walked in. The last time Naruto saw Soifun, her hair was just long. Now it was in 2 ponytails wrapped with what appeared to be tape and 2 gold rings hanging on them. All right Omeda, stand down, said Soifun as Naruto got out of her seat and stood next to the others, making sure Omeda was on the other end of the line. All right, listen up boys. Right now things are a bit hectic, so listen closely. In 1 week's time I will choose 2 candidates to battle for the title of lieutenant of this division. Until then you are all to be on your best behavior, said Soifun before dismissing everyone, but Naruto took a seat across from her as she leaned into her chair. What's got you bugged? Asked Naruto. The Omeda clan bought Marekio way into being a candidate and I've elected you to be the second, but that's not the reason I asked you to stay behind. I needed a friend to talk to, said Soifun with a smile that was only matched by Naruto's own. And I'll always be there to listen when you need me to, said Naruto, smiling at her. Soifun took Naruto's hand and smiled to him. I know that, Naruto-kun, said Soifun as they begun talking. In a secret training area 2 days later, Naruto arrived at an area he and Renji claimed for themselves in their academy days. He needed to train to keep himself sharp. So he sat under a tree and waited. A half-hour passed before Renji appeared. Hey bro, you up for a little spar? Said Renji, unsheathing his sword. Naruto hopped up and pulled out his own. Naruto was the first to charge and throw a slash at Renji. Renji blocked and pushed Naruto away before he could give him a second chance to strike. Naruto skidded to a halt before he charged again. Naruto jumped into the air and cut Renji on the shoulder. Renji swung around and forced Naruto to jump back. Sprinkled on the bones of the beast. Sharp tower. Red crystal, steel ring. Move and become the wind, stop and become the calm. The sound of warring spears fills the empty castle. Kido 63 thunder roar cannon, yelled Renji, firing the spell at Naruto. Naruto, not wanting to give hit by this spell, jumped over the spell with a back flip. Naruto landed and Renji charged at Naruto, aiming to take his head off. Naruto parried this and kicked Renji in the side, sending him into a tree. Naruto flashed in front of Renji and put his blade to his throat. Naruto smiled at his friend. Nice try Renji, but you're going to have try harder, said Naruto, smiling, before taking his sword away and helping Renji up. Yeah, Naruto, I think you need to Momo, said Renji. Why? Asked Naruto. Because this guy Aizen has been filling her head with junk lately. He praises her for the small things and it has me worried. The way she talks about him is unhealthy, mentally. I love Momo like a little sister, but she idolizes Aizen and I am sure she'll only listen to you on things like this, said Renji. There's probably nothing I can do, but I'll pay Aizen a visit, said Naruto. 1 hour later, Momo and Aizen stood in the 5th Squad's meditation garden training when Naruto appeared. Momo stopped her training and gave Naruto a hug. Aizen smiled at the sense before him. Ought to be young and in love, said Aizen without Momo or Naruto hearing him. Naruto-kun, what are you doing here? Asked Momo, grabbing onto Naruto's arm. I'm here to ask you to come on patrol with me. I also would like a word with Aizen in private, said Naruto. Of course Naruto-kun, said Aizen, leading Naruto to his office. Once the door was closed, Naruto glared at Aizen. This startled Aizen a bit that someone other than a hollow would have the guts to glare at a captain. Aizen, tell me, what are your plans for Momo? Asked Naruto in a quiet voice that could barely be heard. Why, I only want her to reach her full potential. After all, that's what all captains want. I want to make sure that anyone of the people in my squad could match a lieutenant, said Aizen with a smile. Hot bullshit. Listen Aizen, I'm going to make this as clear as I can, so clean the wax out of your ears and listen up. I don't trust you. It's nothing personal, it's just the way I was in life. I'm here to warn you that if anything happens to Momo, regardless of what it is, you're the first one I'm coming after, captain level power or not. Your ass will be grass, so to speak, said Naruto, making Aizen narrow his eyes a bit. Aizen's brown eyes glared at Naruto's sea blue eyes in a way that they let each other know it was serious. It was a stare down that Aizen knew could go on for days, maybe even weeks. Aizen knew felt that Naruto meant business to threaten him like that, but he didn't know how far he would go to carry out that threat, and if his eyes were any indication, he would go pretty damn far to carry out his threat. Add that to the fact he manifested his Shikai as an academy student, meant Aizen would probably have a time beating Naruto. Well, Naruto-kun, you have my word, nothing will happen to Momo-chan, said Aizen. For your sake, nothing better happened to her, Aizen, said Naruto, exiting the room. Insolent boy. I should get rid of him before he complicates my plans to get to true heaven. Maybe I'll have a few hollows kill him soon. Yes, Naruto-kun, you'll wish you didn't try him, thought Aizen, never losing his smile. With Naruto and Momo, Naruto looked back at the door Aizen was behind. As Momo started to drag him away, he knew that he just made an enemy out of the man. Naruto knew that in the near future he and Aizen would come to blows and only one of them would walk away. Aizen, when you strike, I'll be there to stop you, thought Naruto. Nexus was bored and it was getting to him. For nearly 1,000 years his body had been recovering from the damage he suffered at the hands of Yamamoto in their last and greatest battle. And finally, after nearly 1,000 years, Nexus was back and ready to complete his plans. Nexus stood and let his joints crack. I think it's time I saw how the world has changed and have a little fun, said Nexus, snapping his fingers and disappearing. Soul Society 3 days after squad entries. Naruto, Momo, Renji, Haku, and Nanao had been given a mission by Yamamoto himself to deal with a large pack of hollows that had appeared just outside of the former Edo region. Naruto was given tactical command with Nanao as his second. They arrived at their gate and left immediately. In real world, it was early in the afternoon when they arrived in the former Edo region. They landed in an old run-down village, but they couldn't find any hollows. Something's not right here, said Renji, putting his hand on his blade. Hey Nanao, do you sense anything in the area? Asked Naruto as Nanao pulled out a device that let her locate hollows. No Naruto, I don't get it, the area was packed with hollows when we got the scan earlier, said Nanao. Perhaps I could answer you, young lady, came a voice off to the right. Nanao pulled her dagger from her left sleeve, while Renji, Momo, Naruto, and Haku drew their swords and got into their stances. The person they were looking at was a man in his late 30s, early 40s, standing at 6 feet 0 inches. He had long gray hair that fell to mid-back, gray eyes that looked colder than any hollows. He wore a gray cloak that fell to his knees, black shirt, black pants, gray belt, black boots, and a chain with a skull and sword on it. On his waist was a sword that looked like the hilt was made of bone, and his guard looked like a small dragon skull. Who the are you? Asked Naruto, tighten his grip on his sword. Impatient, aren't we? My name would be Nexus if I had a name. I was and still am the first modern hollow, said the man, bowing. Nanao paled and nearly dropped her dagger. That's impossible. The first hollow was said to be a dead dragon that turned into a hollow from grief of losing his loved ones, said Nanao. Not even close. It is true, however, that the first hollow had dragon-like abilities. While I may no longer wear the mask, I am that very hollow, said Nexus. I don't give a damn if you were Kami himself. Tell us what happened to the hollows that were in the area. Answer me before I get to cutting, said Naruto, ready to attack this thing. Oh yes, those children. They got out of line, so I ate them one by one. They tasted oh so good too. Almost as good as humans when they're in their prime, said Nexus, smiling. You're one sick bastard, you know that, said Renji, charging Nexus. Renji, wait, yelled Nanao, only for the call to come too late. Renji was upon his and tried to cut off his head. Nexus didn't even move as the blade hit his neck. Nexus pulled the blade away. Before punching Renji in the gut, Nexus then kicked Renji into a nearby building, knocking him and breaking a few of his bones. "Oh my god, Renji!" yelled Momo, running over to her fallen friend. "What the?" He swatted Renji away like he was a bug. "This is no hollow. Hell, it's not even a demon. It's something else entirely," thought Naruto. "This. Haku, Nanao, Momo, get Renji and return to Soul Society. I'll be right behind you," said Naruto, spinning his blade over his head. "But Naruto," started Haku, only to be cut off by Nexus. "Listen to your friend, girl. You don't want to be here in the next few minutes," said Nexus, flaring his power, making Nanao throw up. "Naruto, please be safe. This is no ordinary hollow you're dealing with," thought Nanao. The girls quickly retrieved Renji and left. "It's just you and me now, you sick psycho-headed ass hollow. Let the four winds howl, Yaseke's," yelled Naruto, unsealing his blade. Nexus looked at Naruto with a bit of glee before unsheathing his sword. Naruto raised Yaseke's, before charging Nexus with all the speed he had. Naruto brought the sword down only to find Nexus block it with his hand. Nexus used his blade to cut at Naruto. Naruto back-flipped out the way, but in the process the tie holding his hair together was cut off. Naruto skidded to a halt and glared at the hollow. Nexus appeared in front of Naruto and hit him with a right hook, sending him into a wall. Naruto quickly got up and slammed his right foot into Nexus's face, before he turned in the air and slammed his left foot into his face, sending Nexus to the ground. Nexus quickly got up and charged Naruto, only for Naruto to slash at Nexus's head. Nexus dodged and kicked Naruto in the face, forcing Naruto back. "Boy, you fight well, for one so young. Amuse me some more," yelled Nexus, charging like a wild boar. Naruto brought up one of his wind shields only for it to be shattered like a piece of glass when Nexus cut at it. Naruto was thrown back into the castle. Naruto stood and felt blood pour out of a few gashes on his left arm and from under his left eyes. "Damn it, this thing is not even using his full power. It's toying with us," yelled Yasei. "That's what I'm going to refer to him as when he's talking to Naruto." "Don't matter. This thing is going down one way or another," thought Naruto. "Yaseik's Hurricane Strike," yelled Naruto, unleashing a blast of wind that was so powerful it leveled half the village. Nexus was standing there with a real sick grin on his face. "Boy, that was a strong attack. I was scared for a second. I'm sure that was strong enough to take out at least 2 middle-class Manos and 5 regular Manos," said Nexus. Nexus disappeared and slammed his foot into Naruto's gut, sending him flying. Nexus appeared above Naruto and tried to slash his head off, only for Naruto to use both Yaseke's and its wind-cased abilities as a shield. Naruto used this opportunity to kick Nexus in the face, sending him back. Nexus raised his blade and a gray energy ball started to appear. By the time it had gathered full energy, it was at least the size of 12 basketballs. Nexus threw the ball at Naruto. Naruto unleashed all the wind power he had to try and block the attack. He made at least 9 wind shields that were all smashed until it hit Naruto, blasting him back into a 10-foot deep, 20-foot wide crater. Naruto was now bleeding worse than he was few minutes ago. He also had a few broken ribs and he knew that his right arm was banged up pretty good if the pain shooting through it was any sign. "Bastard, I'm going to get you," said Naruto, panting. He was almost out of energy and Yasei revered back to its sealed form right after he landed in the crater. Hum. You put up quite the fight, boy, even if I was only using about 11% of my full power to fight you. I'll let you live, boy. Grow strong quickly, because I want to fight you again. Oh, and tell Yamamoto that Nexus is back, and if he interferes more than necessary, whole towns will vanish," said Nexus, disappearing, but not before taking off his chain and putting it in Naruto's hand. "You can bet that I'll get stronger quickly, you sick son of a," said Naruto, though the pain. The last thing he saw and heard was Nanao yelling out his name. In the 4th division, Nanao, Momo, and Haku were by Naruto and Renji's beds. Both were out like lights, but Naruto got the worst of it. Soifun no Naruto wouldn't be in any condition to fight once he woke up, so she gave the position of vice captain to Omidia with the condition that if Naruto challenged him he had to accept it. Zaraki and Zabuza stood in the door of the 4th division. They always had to get patched up by them after spars and battles, so they had a good relationship. I know, but bear with. Man, that must have been some kind of hollow to do this to the kid, said Zabuza. Huh, what makes you say that? Said Zaraki, thinking that Naruto would be a good challenge. The damn kid doesn't know the meaning of the words give up or surrender. When I fought him it was do or die and he did, said Zabuza, putting his head on the wall. If that's the case he would have been perfect for the 11th division then. Because that's something I can admire, said Zaraki as Unohana walked up. You two should know to keep it down. We have 2 men who are in bad shape, said Unohana, making them leave. Momo got up saying she had to go and report to her captain about the mission. Haku left and said she had other parents to attend to. Nanao got up and walked over to the window and looked up. It was night time and Naruto would have loved to look back at her 2 friends in worry. Naruto and Renji didn't look so good. Unohana said that Renji would be up by late evening tomorrow at the latest and Naruto would be up in a week tops. But that's not what had her worried. It was the fact that both Renji and Naruto got hurt by a hollow who could give the commander general a run for his money. My name would be Nexus if I had a name. I was and still am the first modern hollow. Yamamoto sat behind his desk and across from him sat the Kyuubi in human form. Kyuubi looked a bit like Naruto, but red hair and blood-red eyes. He wore a black and red long jacket with no sleeves, black pants, and boots. On his side was a pair of Dao's broadswords. Kyuubi, don't know why have you come out of hell. I hope it's about something other than the lack of souls you're getting lately, said Yamamoto. Kyuubi was the only creature that would probably come into Yamamoto's office like he owned it. Yamamoto respected the Kyuubi as a fighter, but as a person he had a little too much personality. Believe it or not, Yamamoto, it's more important than a few weak human souls. I felt Naruto in pain. I guess our connection can never truly be broken, unless one of us dies again. But we have more important things to discuss, like Naruto's little fight with Nexus. Yes, I do know about that battle. I thought you took him down 1,000 years ago, said Kyuubi, glaring at the old commander general. I thought I did as well, but it seems that he was only hiding himself. Nexus was a powerful hollow, and by the time we had our final showdown, hollow numbers had already swelled to a point it would take thousands of Reapers to kill them all, said Yamamoto. Damn it. Those hollowers are getting out of hand. Some even tried to enter hell. Listen, contact me in about 3 months. I'll be here to train Naruto. He's going to need it if he does what I think he will, said Kyuubi, standing up. Wait, why don't you and I find and kill Nexus? I'm sure he can't beat us both. We're both powerful, said Yamamoto. Sorry, Yamamoto. You and I both know we can only interfere so much anymore, and the only reason I'm even able to train Naruto is because he and I were once shared a body and mind. For Connie's sake, I'm already breaking a rule. Interfering in mortal affairs, said Kyuubi. You are right, Kyuubi Dono, but if Nexus is as dangerous as I think he is, we may need you to step in even if we both break a few rules to do so, said Yamamoto. I understand, Yamamoto, but I will only step in for Naruto's sake, said Kyuubi, disappearing in a swirl of flames. 4th Division Station. Naruto slowly opened his eyes and looked around. He felt sluggish. He looked around and found himself in the 4th Division rest station. It took another few minutes for his ears to catch up with him and he heard humming. He looked to the right and saw Nanao humming while reading a book. Nanao-chan, said Naruto, realizing that his throat was raw. Nanao stopped humming and looked at Naruto. Naruto-kun, you're finally awake. Hang on while I get you some water, said Nanao, leaving the room. She returned a few minutes later with a glass in her hand. After helping him sit up, she helped him drink. Thank you for getting me some water, Nanao-chan. How long have I been out? Asked Naruto, starting to feel a bit sore on his ribs. You've been out for about a week. Renji got out only 3 days ago, and after that battle he requested a transfer into the 11th division, so the next time he takes on someone like Nexus he'll be ready, said Nanao. Naruto smiled. Good for Renji. I thought he was too slow for the 5th anyway, said Naruto as Nanao hugged him and started to cry. Nanao-chan, said Naruto. Nanao was crying into his shoulder. Baka, I thought you were dead when I first saw your body after that fight with Nexus. I was scared that I would lose you. We all were. Never do that again, Naruto. I love you too much to lose you, said Nanao, not realizing what she had said. Naruto for his part was shocked. Nanao loved him. She said it herself. He grabbed Nanao in a gentle hug and ate her on the lips. Nanao, the only reason I'm even alive is because I couldn't die, not until I saw your smile, and even if I did die I would come back just for you, said Naruto, causing Nanao to blush. Naruto, I want to be with you with all my heart, but I'm scared of what might come of it if it doesn't work out between us, said Nanao, looking away. Naruto grabbed her chin gently and made her look at him. Nanao, I'm scared as well, but I'm willing to give it a try, said Naruto, pulling her into a hug. Alright, let's give it a try, said Nanao, hugging Naruto back. Outside in the hall, Renji heard the whole thing and couldn't be happier for his two friends, but he needed to talk to Naruto and it was of the utmost importance that he did it now. Renji walked in just as Nanao ed Naruto. Hey lovebirds, break it up, said Renji, making Nanao and Naruto jump apart with blushes on their faces. Renji would have laughed if he didn't need to talk to Naruto. Nanao, I need to talk to your new boyfriend alone for a minute, said Renji with a grin. Nanao walked out and mumbled something about finding was to kill red-haired monkeys with shit-eating grins, making both Naruto and Renji laugh. So Renji, what did you need to talk to me about, said Naruto, looking at Renji. Listen, we both got our asses handed to us by this bastard Nexus, so I figure if we train to be at least captain level then we have a chance to beat him, said Renji. I know Renji, I know, but that bastard was on a whole other level. He beat us with only 11% of his full power, Renji. Whatever it takes to beat him, we're way behind, said Naruto. I guess you're right, but we're both stronger than we look. While you were out I was able to awaken my Shikai, said Renji, smiling. Good, now all we have to do is train 10 years to get Bankai and we set, said Naruto. Once you're out we've going to train like hell, said Renji, leaving the room. Once Naruto was by himself he moved his left arm and found that it still stung. Naruto knew Nexus was no joke, but that was insane about the way he fought. He toyed with his enemy, before delivering the death blow, or in Naruto's case the knockout punch. Even when Naruto hit him with all the power he could muster in one attack he still lost. Boy, to become stronger you and I will have to fight more hollows. I noticed that you get stronger when fighting better opponents, said Yasei. You're right, once I'm fully healed we'll work our asses off, said Naruto, just before Nanao walked in. With Yamamoto. Yamamoto was facing the window as two people walked in. You wanted to see us, Yamamoto-sama? Asked one of them. Yes, I need Naruto trained. He is strong. Maybe stronger than me. I give you two full permission to train him as you see fit, even go as far to release your Zanpakuto. This is a top priority. With Nexus around again things could get bad real quick, said Yamamoto. Both figures bit their lips. Yes, Commander General, they said. Oh, by the way, Minato, make sure Kushina doesn't baby him too much. He is after all a Soul Reaper, said Yamamoto, smiling. Minato smiled as happy tears ran down Kushina's eyes at Yamamoto's words. I can't make any promises, sir. We have 17 years to make up, said Minato, hugging his wife. Sir, thank you for this, said Kushina, bowing to Yamamoto. Yamamoto chuckled. No need to thank me, dear. After all, he is your son. What right do I have to keep people from their families, said Yamamoto as they walked out. 2nd Division Training Ground. Naruto looked behind him as he heard that and rubbed his head. Nanao's going to kill me when she sees me training, said Naruto. Just after Naruto said that, two people jumped out and slashed at him. Naruto blocked using his sword and sheath. It's not nice to attack people, said Naruto. They both jumped back as Naruto put his sheath back in his belt. He could tell one was male, while the other was female, but other than that he could tell nothing. The male charged and brought his sword up to slash at Naruto's arm. Naruto parried and kicked out, but his leg connected to the second attacker's arm. Naruto jumped back and put his sword in a guard position that didn't leave him open. The male attacker looked at the female attacker and both nodded. The male slammed his sword into the ground. Lightning of the heavens, Raiko! Yelled the man. His sword grew long and turned into a cross spear with an 11-inch yellow wrap hanging off the end. The woman held her sword out to the side while holding 2 fingers in front of her like half a ram sign. "Let the waters swirl, Uzumaki," yelled the woman. Her sword became a wide-bored sword with 5 rings in it. Naruto spun his blade over his head. "So you want to play like that, huh? Fine then. Let the 4 winds howl, Yasekes," yelled Naruto, soon taking it in both of his hands. The woman charged first and jumped into the air. She brought her sword down in an arc intent to cut his arm off. Naruto raised Yasekes above his head and stopped the attack. Naruto felt water fall on his face. The woman jumped and Naruto could swear she smiled at him, before a small tidal wave hit him. Then, as if by her command, the water started to spin. Naruto could hardly move until he focused his wind powers into a small counter spin, stopping the water for a few minutes. "Lightning Blitz," yelled the man, jumping on the water after Naruto. Naruto managed to get out of the whirlpool only to get zapped by the man. Naruto fell to the ground clutching his gut as both his attackers leveled their weapons at him. "I thought you were stronger, but if 2/3 seats overpowered you, then you're in trouble," said the man. "Alright, what the is going on? Why the hell did you 2 attack me?" asked Naruto as they took their blades away. "It was to see how well your skills have come along. I'm not disappointed, but I'm not impressed you still held us for more than 3 minutes, but that's not good enough," said the man. "Alright, who the hell are you?" asked Naruto. The man and woman both removed their masks and Naruto saw a man that looked like him and a woman with red hair and green eyes. "My name is Minato Namikaze, or better known in life as the first Hokage, 3rd seat of Squad 10, and this is Kushina Uzumaki, my wife, and 3rd seat of Squad 9. Were your parents Naruto?" said Minato. Naruto was stunned. Here he was not only in the presence of both his mother and father, but the man who also sealed Kyuubi in him. Naruto slammed his sword into the ground, walked up to Minato and slugged him so hard he went flying back by 10 feet. "Minato!" yelled Kushina, looking at where her husband landed. "You asshole! That's only a taste of what I'm going to do to you in a few minutes. My life was hell thanks to the fox you sealed into me. I survived over 200 beatings at the hands of the people that you wanted to protect. If it wasn't for old man Sarutobi and Iruka sensei, I would have snapped on day 1. Now I'm going to do to you what has been done to me." "Kushina, if you're my mother then stand back," said Naruto, jumping back to his sword. "Naruto, wait!" yelled Kushina. Minato didn't even have time to bring up his guard as Naruto charged at him with the 2nd stage of Flash Step and started to wildly attack Minato with everything he had. Naruto spun and kicked Minato in the gut, sending him into a tree. Minato got up only to find Naruto right back at his throat. "Alright mister, I think you need a timeout. Carriage of Thunder. Bridge of a spinning wheel. With light, divide this into 6. Keto 61 6 rods. Prison of light," said Kushina. 6 rods of white light surrounded Naruto and stopped him in his place. "Damn it, let me go so I can kill him," yelled Naruto. "I guess you're mad, huh?" said Minato, looking at Naruto with a sad expression on his face. "Mad? Mad is the biggest understatement of the whole decade. Mom, I understand, died in childbirth. She had no control over that, but you not only take away my change at a normal life, but you leave me all alone in a village with people who would kill me in a heartbeat. You used that seal knowing that I would be alone in the world," yelled Naruto with tears falling from his eyes. "Naruto, it was a tough choice for me to make. I had to protect the village somehow. I was their cage, they looked at me to save them. They had so much faith in me, I thought it would be enough to stop them from hating you, said Minato, looking down as the binding spell on Naruto broke. "You're damn right it wasn't enough. See you later, Mom, Minato Tem," said Naruto, sealing his sword and barely missing the flinch that Minato had. "I could say you desired that, but," started Kushina. I know, but it hurts more seeing him hurt like that," said Minato. In Naruto home, Nanao sat in a chair with a hard look on her face. The room she was in was well finished and looked decent. This was Naruto's home. He stayed there when not on duty, and Nanao was one of 4 people who know about it. The door opened and Nanao saw it was Naruto, and just as she was about to yell at him, she saw the look on his face. Anger, hate, sadness, and pain. Whatever got to him, he needed her as the caring girlfriend, not the bossy girlfriend. Naruto-kun, what's wrong? Asked Nanao, pulling him into a hug. I met my parents just a little while ago, said Naruto. And? Asked Nanao, leading him to the couch. Remember how I told you how the fourth Hokage sealed the Kyuubi into me? After seeing her nod, he went on. It turns out that the bastard is my father, and the worst part is I don't think I can ever forgive him for what he did to me. The loneliness was so unbearable in Konoha that I thought I would die from pain, until old man Sarutobi helped me out of it, and then more people came into my life. Iruka-sensei, Kakashi-sensei, Sasuke-tem, Sakura-chan, Hinata-chan, Choji, Shikamaru, Shino, Kiba, and Ino somewhat. They saved me from that dark pit called loneliness, and I'm grateful. I don't ever want to feel that again, said Naruto as the tears that he held in for so long finally started to fall. Nanao pulled Naruto into a hug and started to stroke his hair. She had always seen him as a strong person, but even he had a weakness. Shaw, it's okay Naruto-kun, I'm here for you and I always will be, said Nanao-ing his forehead. I could be an ass and end it here, but I'm not that cruel. The next day, Naruto met with Renji and they decided to spar. Okay bro, full on battle. Shikai only, said Naruto sheathing his sword. Right, roar Zabumaru, said Renji swapping his hand over the blade. It extended into a sword with 6 5" bars and looked like it could cause a person much pain. Let the four winds howl Yasekeis, said Naruto spinning his blade in the air. Naruto jumped in the air and then slammed his blade into the ground right where Renji was. Renji jumped out the way and slashed at Naruto. Zabimzor's blade shot a straight line towards Naruto. This surprised Naruto as he brought his sword up to block it. Nice trick, said Naruto as Renji smirked. Renji redirected the blade and it slammed into Naruto's stomach, sending him into a tree. Naruto jumped up and was about to charge when Minato and Kushina appeared. What do you want, mom? Said Naruto, sealing his sword. Bro, this is your mom? Asked Renji. Naruto, there's no time for that. Minato, Haku, Zabuza, Momo, you and I have a mission, said Kushina. What is it? Asked Naruto. We are to go to the land of fire in the elemental countries. It appears that a base at the border was attacked. Several people died. 2 mid-B ranked hollows were spotted in the area and we are to slay them. We leave in 2 hours. Minato is leader for this mission and personal feelings are not to be brought here, Naruto, said Kushina. I see. Renji will have to spar another time. I'll see you later, said Naruto, leaving with Minato and Kushina. Yeah, later, said Renji, sealing Zabumaru and walking away. 2 years. It had been 2 years since the death of Naruto Uzumaki and things had gone from bad to worse. Sand had declared war on the lead and Cloud and Stone refused to aid either side, for fear of total annihilation. Stone was still recovering from a landslide that happened 6 months ago that was caused by a gang of B-ranked Stone missing nin. Cloud was no better off as their container went crazy after she was raped by over 20 Jonins and the rakeage and destroyed over half the village. Hey Sakura, we need medical supplies over here, came the voice of one Sasuke Uchiha. He changed after Naruto died. He no longer cared what the villagers thought of Naruto, but if they badmouthed Naruto in front of Sasuke they would be killed on the spot. The council had offered him the office of Hokage, but he refused, saying that it was Naruto's destiny to wear that hat, not his. He sometimes still refused to believe Naruto was really gone. He wore Chunin clothes. Coming Sasuke, said Sakura, picking up a small crate of meds. She herself had changed. She no longer wished to live in the village after her mother had thrown a party with more than 50 of her lady family members and their costumers for the death of Naruto. Sakura was a fool. She knew what most of her family members did and refused to do it point blank. That was the true reason she became a ninja. Her mother wouldn't try to whore her out. She's in her time skip uniform, but with longer hair. Hurry up Sakura, came the hard voice of Hinata. She had changed the most out of everyone who know Naruto. After his death she took his headband and keep it. People tried to take it from her, but she refused to let anyone have it, even Iruka. She now wore it around her right arm as a testament to him. She had also become one of the most badass Konoichi in the village and nobody could touch her. Aside from that, she didn't want a relationship with anyone. She wears what Tenten wears, but in blue. I wonder if we should get ready and go. Out of the 100 people who were here only 30 survived, said Sasuke. Sasuke-san, our orders are to remain here until further notice, said a girl with buns. Her name was Tenten. She knew Naruto better than anyone thought she did. It was hard to tell by the way they reacted to each other in the exams. They were actually friends who lived in the same apartment complex in the slums. You're right, but this war is starting to get out of hand. With that Gaara running around we have problems, said Sasuke shaking his head. Yes, I called Gaara I did a little change. Tisk, 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 flattery will get you nowhere, but a one-way ticket to hell, Sasuke-kun, came a sickly beautiful voice from behind them. Oh no, said Sasuke activating his Sharingan. Behind them was a girl with long red hair that looked kind of messy, green eyes, an angelic face, curves in all the right places, large B-cup S, she wore a black shirt that exposed her stomach, fishnet armor, a brown skirt, and knee-high boots. Gaara, said Sasuke. He had run into this psycho chick many times and every time was forced to retreat. She made a game of it. This time would be different. He had been training to use a move Kakashi taught him without hand signs. You sound as if you're not happy to see me, Sasuke-kun. Oh well, die Uchiha, yelled Gaara, charging with her sand lashing out. Sasuke got into the firefighting stance and waited for Gaara. Just as she was about to hit him, they saw something blurry come in between them and hit both of them, knocking them out. Sasuke, said Sakura, rushing over. Just as she was about to get to him, a kunai hit him in the heart, killing him. Ha no more Uchiha, said a sound nin until he saw a wind kunai get past Gaara's shield and kill her, by hitting her throat. An eye for an eye, asshole, said Tenten, holding out 8 more just like it. We got the weapons mistress of Konoha here as well as the killer Hyuga. Be careful, said the sand nin as 20 more appeared. Ready, Hinata? Asked Tenten, spinning a few of the kunai on her fingers. Ready, Tenten, said Hinata, pulling out a Hoya's Jin. Slightly in the afterlife. Sasuke was freaking out. He just saw himself get hit with a kunai, and why the hell was he having a hard time breathing? He looked across and saw Gaara in the same predicament, but she was yelling at a raccoon that did not look pleased and a man dressed in monk's robes. Sasuke didn't give a damn about his two things appeared around them. One was at least 9 feet tall and resembled a man wearing a full black bone suit. His mask was in the shape of a wolf. The other was shaped like a hawk and had very large wings. Well, look what we have here, my friend. We came for a feast, but I didn't think we could get dessert too. The boy looks rather tasty, said the Black Skull one. Quiet talking and let's eat. It's been nearly a week and I'm starved, and you know how I love young girls, especially the redheads, said the bird. The bone man charged at Sasuke, who tried to active his Sharingan only for nothing to happen. He ducked as the bone man tried to strike him with his claws. He felt something collide with his back and know it was Gaara. Do you have any clue what the hell these things are, bastard? Asked Gaara. How the hell should I know? Said Sasuke. It won't matter because soon you'll be in my belly, said the hawk. He dived at Gaara, but flew back up as a strong concentration of wind nearly hit it. He looked over and saw a group of people in Soul Reaper's clothes, but only the blonde with whiskers had his blade drawn. What the hell, said the bone hollow. Who would have thought I would be saving your sorry ass twice, Sasuke Uchiha? Looks like we got 2 heading for the society once we're done here, said Naruto, putting Yaseke's on his shoulder and having that old foxy grin on his face. And Naruto, you're alive, said a shocked Sasuke who was nearly crying in joy. Yes and no, but it will have to wait for later, said Naruto. Momo, Naruto, Haku, take on the bone guy, while Zabuza, Kushina, and I handle the bird, said Minato, pulling out his sword. Right, said everyone, getting into their groups. Damn, split up, yelled Bone, taking off to the left, while Hawk took off to the right. Just as everyone began giving chase, Minato looked at Gaara and Sasuke. You two don't move, said Minato. After getting a nod, he followed Zabuza and Kushina. With Naruto's group, Bone had led them to a large field and glared at them. His body seemed to gain muscle as dun spikes shot out of his back and arms. Naruto jumped in front of him and waited. Haku-chan, Momo-chan, release your Zanpakuto, said Naruto. Snap Tobiyame, said Momo as her blade straightened out and 3 prongs shot out. Attack and protect Sumatai Kokura, Icy Heart. Said Hake had her sword turned into an ice blue blade that looked like it came from medieval times. It was wide at the base and got narrow at the tip, but on her left arm was an ice blue shield that resembled the sword. Naruto's eyes widened. Haku-chan, you use a dual Zanpakuto, said Naruto. Even thought Commander Yamamoto says it is. I disagree. My Zanpakuto is only a sword that comes with the shield when released, said Haku. All his talk is getting tiresome. Come at me with everything you got, Soul Reapers, yelled the Hollow. Naruto spun Yaseke's over his head, gathering the wind. With pleasure, beast. I always wanted to find out how easy Yase could cut the bone, said Naruto, charging. Naruto charged at the bone hollow, with Yaseke's spinning over his head. Naruto stopped the spin and brought down the blade only for the hollow to block with his massive arm covered in bone-like armor. Naruto-kun, move, yelled Momo. Naruto jumped back just in time for a pink energy attack to hit the hollow in the chest, followed by a rapid strike from Haku that nearly took the hollow's head. Haku, Momo, and Naruto quickly regrouped as the hollow jumped back and started to throw bone-shaped knives at them. Naruto grabbed Momo by the waist, making her blush as he and Haku jumped back. The bones stuck into the earth and stayed there, right before blowing up. Naruto landed in a tree and Haku landed next to him. Naruto set Momo down before he jumped at the hollow and swung Yaseke's at him as concentrated wind struck the hollow in the chest, knocking him back about 10 feet. Momo and Haku took that time to use Kido. Walls of iron sand, a priestly pagoda, glowing ironclad fireflies. Standing upright, silent to the end. Kido 75, quintet of 1 con iron pillars. Yelled Momo as 5 iron rods hit the hollow, temporarily stopping his movements. Ye Lord, mask of blood and flesh, all creation, flutter of wings, ye who bears the name of man. On the wall of blue flame, inscribe a twin lotus. In the abyss of conflagration, wait at the far heavens. Kido 73, twin lotus blue fire, crash down, yelled Haku, firing 2 shots at the hollow, hitting it in the chest. Damn brats, said Bone, pulling the rods out of his skin. Sorry, but I'm not about to give you a chance to recover, you soulless monster, said Naruto, attacking him from above. The hollow was forced to jump back as the blade kept coming at him. He was getting mad and knew he would have to use the useless power he had to put an end to this fight, or else he would die. Taking Yaseke's to the shoulder, he glared into Naruto's eyes with widened. Normally I rely on my claws and bones to take down my prey, but you forced me to do this, kid, said the hollow. Forced you to do? Naruto didn't finish as his eyes went blank. Naruto's mind. Naruto was in his mind, but he was in Konoha. He looked down an alley and saw the villagers beating something. Hey, stop that, yelled Naruto, charging the closet one only to realize that he couldn't hit it. Demon Sum will teach you a lesson about stealing from hard-working folks, said the leader of the group. Naruto looked down and paled at what he saw. It was himself. This was the worst beating he ever got. It lasted for nearly 9 hours, and even when the Anbu showed up, they still beat him, and the Anbu even joined in. I hope you like it, because you'll relive this moment until you're so broken you'll beg me to devour you, said Bone. The memory kept replaying itself over and over for what seemed like hours to Naruto. Soon Naruto started to cry out and hold his head until he fell to the ground with tears in his eyes. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Please, for the love of Kami, stop this madness, yelled Naruto until he heard something he missed. No matter what you do to me, I'll always get up, always fight, and I won't back down. I'm Uzumaki Naruto and I won't quiet, said the young Naruto after they backed off a bit. And what makes you say that, demon, said the leader. Naruto remembered this part, because it was the day he declared his true dream to the world. He diced to recite it with his younger self. Because one day, I'll be so strong you'll have to respect me for not my power, not my reputation, but for who controls the power, for who I am. I'm Uzumaki Naruto, believe it, the 2 Narutos said together, and the memory shattered into pieces. Back in reality, Haku and Momo had dared not interfere, because they feared what would happen to Naruto if they did. It lasted for about 10 minutes until Naruto's eyes narrowed and he grabbed Yaseke's tightly before slashing off Bone's arm. Bone jumped back and yelled out in pain. Bastard, no one gave you the go-ahead to enter my mind, said Naruto, cranking his neck. Damn brat of a reaper, said Bone, charging at Naruto with a speed that could be on par with a seventh seat. Naruto stood there until the last moment he disappeared. He appeared behind the hollow only for the hollow to scream in pain as his mask was cut. "Momo-chan, did you see that?" asked Haku. "No, Haku-chan. He moved fast, almost as fast as Captain Soifin, and that's saying something," said Momo. "You haven't disappeared yet, meaning you're going to rot in hell. Enjoy, and before you go you have my sympathies, you heartless bastard," said Naruto in a cold tone, before sealing his sword and sheathing it. Just as he did that, a large set of gates came out the ground. Both sides had a skeleton with one arm on the chest. The gate opened up and an even larger blade stabbed the hollow and made him disappear into the gate before it closed. Haku and Momo ran up to Naruto, who stood there with his back to them. "Naruto-kun, are you alright?" Momo asked. Naruto smiled at her before a single tear made its way down his right cheek, making Momo stop in front of him. "Momo-chan, I'm fine, and I shall never forget the reason why I wanted to be strong in the first place ever again, because that is who I am." "Naruto Uzumaki, believe it," said Naruto, picking Momo up and swinging her around in a hug, missing the full face blush. Other battlefield 5 minutes earlier. Zabuza sat on the hollow with a cigarette in his mouth. "Man, this hollow sucked. Kushina, are you sure it's a mid-B ranked hollow? Cause it fought like a low C level to me," said Zabuza, passing the cigarette to Minato. "Hang on," said Kushina, pulling it out a scanner and doing a quick scan. "What the hell? It says here that this thing is only a C ranked hollow, mid at best. This is not good if hollows are able to start fooling our tech. Someone set us up. Whoever did it made it look like there were 2 high-level hollows in the area, when there was only one. I guess it was Nexus. This is getting out of hand, we need to put an end to him, soon," said Minato, finishing the hollow. "Let's go find the kinds," said Kushina, just as a huge gate sprung up. "I'll be damned. The brats actually won," said Zabuza. Back with Sasuke and Gaara. Everyone had returned to Sasuke and Gaara to see them about to come to blows. "All right, enough," said Minato. "Will someone tell me what in the name of Kami is going on here?" said Sasuke, as Haku took the better part of 10 minutes to explain it to Sasuke and Gaara, before they performed a soul burial on them. "Let's go home," said Naruto, using his sword like a key. "Up in the clouds. Damn, I wanted to see my experiments work better than that. Cuckoo. I still got very useful data on those 3, but still Naruto-kun will be even more of a nuisance than even Minato ever was," said Orochimaru. Back in Soul Society, Naruto was in his home as he laid down on his couch. He was still slightly worried about what was said and know that he didn't want it in his head. Then a knock came to his door. When he opened it, he saw Soifin there with a small flush on her cheeks. Soifin was one of the 4 people who know about this place, and she only came here to relax, because somehow she had convinced Naruto to let her stay over at times, even during the night. "Naruto-kun, you mind if I stay here tonight? That pig won't stop with his advances," said Soifin, telling a half-truth. She also wanted to be close to the person she had fallen for in the time she had known him. Naruto smiled at her. "Come on in, Soifin-chan. You know where your room is when you spend the night," said Naruto. Soifin's face flushed even more. What she was about to say would shock him. "Naruto-kun, do you think Nanao would mind sharing you?" asked Soifin, blushing crimson and twiddling her thumbs. "What?" yelled Naruto before he fainted. "I didn't think he'd faint. I think I'll have a little chat with Nanao about sharing Naruto-kun with me," said Soifin, blushing a bit before she picked up Naruto, put him in his bed and left. Naruto woke up to find Yasei rolling on the ground laughing. Naruto had become patient over the years, but one thing he never liked was when people laughed at him. "Shut the hell up, fuzzball. I want to see you when one of your friends asks you out like that from nowhere," yelled Naruto. Sorry, but you should have seen the look on your face. "Anyway, I think I found a way to skip the years of training to get your Bankai," said Yasei. "How do I do it, Yasei?" asked Naruto. "3 ways actually. 1, you can try and manifest me and I give you a test, and 2, defeat someone with an activated Bankai. Option 1 is less dangerous and option 2 will more than likely get you killed. The last is your emotions. For some reason humans find their strength in emotions. Not sure how, but if the emotion is strong enough you may manifest the Bankai skipping all the rules," said Yasei. Naruto smiled. That's the fun of it. I'll find someone with Bankai and kick ass, said Naruto before disappearing. Naruto's home. Naruto woke up in his bed and remembered what happened last night. Better find Nanao, said Naruto before leaving his home. Naruto went to her division and found that she hadn't been in all day and was rumored to have been seen with Soifin early this morning. At the time only one thing came to Naruto's mind. Someone is probably going to get hurt. Boy Soifin may be able to take on Momo, but Nanao fights dirty, said Yasei. It was true Nanao fight 3 girls in the academy who picked on Momo and it was not hand to hand like it should have been, it was a street brawl. Naruto came from the street and he was surprised when he saw Nanao fight like that. Not wasting any more time he rushed over to the 2nd Division headquarters. He went over to Soifin's office expecting the worst, instead he found Soifin and Nanao sipping tea. Hello Naruto, said Nanao taking another sip. Naruto looked between the 2 women before lying down and holding his head up on one arm. I take it you two came to an agreement, said Naruto. Yes we did. It turns out that Nanao is bi like me. She's never had and wants her first time to be a threesome, said Soifin, making Nanao blush like crazy. Soifin, you didn't have to tell him that, said Nanao. Oh well, anyway she agreed and we all have work to do, and Naruto you're due for some training with me, said Soifin, before they both ed Nanao, which was a little weird for Naruto, before they took off to their favorite training ground. Soifin and Naruto's training ground. Once in the training ground, Soifin and Naruto removed their swords. Soifin made it a rule that they would not use their swords for hand-to-hand and flash step training. Soifin had it to where it was standard for the people in her division to be at least somewhat good in hand-to-hand. Not a sound was made as they both moved with speeds that not many could keep up with. Naruto was chasing Soifin as H had to prove he was at least somewhat her level in speed. If Naruto was honest with himself, he was at least boarding captain level, but had yet to break the actual captain mark. He was brought out of his thoughts as Soifin slammed a heel into his jaw, sending him into a tree. Before he reached the tree, he used the momentum to right himself and bounce back off the tree. Unknown to both of them, he left yellow and red partials behind him as he moved, but it only lasted for a second. Naruto appeared in front of Soifin and tried to punch her. She blocked with her right hand, before throwing him over her shoulder and onto the ground before startling his waist. She ed him, before she smirked. I win Naruto-kun, said Soifin. Naruto smirked before he reached into her robes and started to grab her s. This caused her to blush, before Naruto leaned up and ed her on the lips. Sorry Soifin-chan, but I win, said Naruto as he grabbed both their swords. That's enough training for the day. We'll pick it back up in 2 days. Also in 3 days Nanao and I are spending the night at your house for some entertainment, said Soifin before disappearing. Who would have thought a captain was dating her lower-ranked officer? I could have her reported, came the voice of Jin in a tree. Naruto turned and glared at the man who resembled a fallen fox. This is not the voting fight, as the voting fight will come in next chapter and it will be a fight. Naruto quickly unsheathed his sword and slashed the tree in half, forcing Jin to jump out of it, before he leveled his blade at him. Naruto charged Jin and lashed out with a slash that Jin ducked before jumping back. Slow down there, I'm not here to fight, I want to ask you about that red-haired babe that you brought in, said Jin. Naruto sheathed his sword before glaring at him. If you mean Gaara, stay away from her or else not even your captain status will save you, said Naruto, flaring his power. Oh my, such power from one so young, but what a temper. I suggest you keep it in check, said Jin, opening his red eyes. Stuff it, asshole. You've already pissed me off. Don't make it worse, said Naruto, disappearing into particles of red and yellow. He's a fast one. I'll have to be careful, even I'm not that fast, thought Jin. With Yamamoto. Yamamoto was not happy at all. He would have to appear in a meeting with the 3 kings of the Demon Plane, Kyuubi, the Ninja Tribunal, and the human who was designated as the strongest in terms of spiritual power since the head Quincy over 300 years ago. Meetings like this only took place in dark times, and they had only had meeting like this 5 times in known history. This was turning into a dark time for all the realms. I wonder, what is going to happen in the near future, said Yamamoto as he realized it was time to go. Yamamoto appeared in a room that was circled and had a few seats. He took the chair that read, Lord of Death Gods. It was a few minutes before Kyubi arrived and took a seat next to him with the title that said, Lord of Hell. Kyubi, is it this bad that we all need to be called in? Asked Yamamoto, already knowing the answer to his question. I'm afraid so. Even the tribunal is coming and this means something is up, said Kyubi. After the Kyubi finished talking, 3 people appeared in the room. The one on the left was a huge man with gray pants, and a white sash strapped across his chest, long black hair and red eyes. The one on the right was a beautiful woman who only had on enough cloths to cover her private areas, long purple hair, and gray eyes. The last and center member was a boy who looked young. He had many tattoos on his body that showed his ancestry, and long black hair with black eyes. Lord Kobimaru, Master of Demon Strength, Lady Mitoki, most powerful with demon magic, and Lord Meraki, most skillful of all the kings. It has been a long time, said Yamamoto. It has been many moons in both human and demon worlds, said Kyubi. Indeed it has, Yamamoto-sama, Kyubi-sama, said the smaller man in a strange mixture of demon and human voices. I didn't even want to come. My many slaves were pleasing me back in my domain, said Kobimaru. He seemed more warlike than the other 2. Be silent, you pig. If you were smart you'd have one of those many slave girls birth an heir so when you die so no one outside your family takes control of your area, said Mitoki. Enough. We still must wait for the tribunal and Lord Tenshi to arrive before we can continue, said Meraki. No need, we arrived together, came a voice next to Kyubi. It was a man wearing a blue no-sleeved GI, baggy white cargo pants, a white scarf. He had red hair that fell to mid-back. Standing across from him was 5 people, each wearing a different color cloak. Red for fire, dark blue for water, light blue for wind, green for earth, yellow for lighting. Each wore a helmet that hid their faces, but the council had seen their faces before, except for one person's face. Hello Draco, Lord of Spritz, said Mitoki. Everyone took a seat and the meeting had begun. Who shall open up this meeting? Asked Yamamoto. I will, Yamamoto-sama, said a young female voice. Lady Wind, are you sure? Said the warrior in yellow. I'm sure, Lord Lightning, said Lady Wind. The ninja in light blue stood up. You could tell just by looking at the person that it was a woman. No one, not even the tribunal, knew her birth name or even what she looked like under her helmet. She was considered the leader of the tribunal as not one member, even fire could beat her in a straight match, and was also the student of fate and destiny, the 2 forces no one could oppose. It was said that nobody has ever been outside their control even for a day. As you all know, I was once a student of the 2 masters of control, and what I'm about to tell you is something you will need have an open mind to understand and an open heart to accept, said Wind, removing her helmet, before dropping it on the ground, revealing her face for the first time and shocking most people because of what she looked like. With Naruto. Naruto stood on a tower just looking out at the charade. He was calm and wanted to stay that way all day long, but it was not meant to be. Naruto heard a scream and went to investigate. Once he got to the location he heard the scream come from, he found the pig with a 4th division girl under him and the pig was fondling her. Naruto Flash stepped up to him and kicked him with all his might, sending him into a wall. Naruto turned to the freighted girl. Go get Captain Soifun and Captain Unohana. I'll deal with Vice Captain Omeda, said Naruto in an ice-cold tone that was directed at Omeda. The girl nodded before running off. Omeda got out of the wall and drew his sword. You little bastard, I was just starting to have fun, said Omeda. Raping a fellow death god and saying you were having fun. Clan status be damned, I going kill you right now, you overgrown swine, said Naruto as he rushed at Omeda with red and yellow particles behind him. Naruto was about to slash his head off when a sword blocked his path. That sword belonged to Soifun. Soifun-sama, said Naruto, not wanting his relationship with Soifun known. Naruto, calm down, said Soifun. No way in hell. Swine, in 1 hour you and I fight for the position of vice captain and you'd better be ready to hand over that badge, or I just may take it from your corpse, said Naruto, pointing his sword at the pig. No way in hell am I going to fight you, boy. You're barely good enough to be a reaper, said Omeda. Soifun turned on him. You'd better. Don't you remember my condition for you to be vice captain? You have to fight Naruto, Omeda. You only got the position because he was too injured to fight the first time around, said Soifun. Fine, said Omeda. Naruto smiled. You better bring your A game or I'll bury you with your own words, said Naruto walking away. Hana just sighed. I'll get the bed ready for when the fight is over, said Hana. Yeah, have it nice and warm for the shrimp. Put a label on it as well. In bold letter, said Omeda, pulling out a bag of deep-fried chips nasty as hell. Not for Naruto, but for you, said Hana. The swine growled and walked away. 1 hour later, Naruto and Omeda stood in a field. Word of their battle had spared quick. Renji, Nanao, Haku, Momo, Kushina, Minato, and most of the vice captains stood at the ready in case this got out of hand. It had spared so fast that the head of the clan had come to witness his eldest son's ultimate victory over a commoner. Soifun would be the ref. Soifun stood between then, raised her hand and dropped it before flashing away. Naruto, not wanting to waste any time, jumped into a tree while moving his hands. Ye Lord, mask of flesh and bone, overseer of life's bleed and the wings of pure spirits, let the skies fill with light as you show your true intentions. Kido for white lighting, yelled Naruto, shooting a lighting blot at Omeda. Omeda jumped out the way as the bolt hit a tree and it blew it away. It went through 7 more trees before stopping. Omeda turned to Naruto only to find that Naruto was in front of him about to cut him in two. Omeda was able to raise his sword and block Naruto's strike, but was forced back. Omeda was starting to get pissed off. He charged Naruto only to find a foot planted in his face by Naruto. Naruto did a 360 turn and punched Omeda in his gut, sending him into a tree. Smash 5 points, yelled Omeda, turning his sword into a mace-like ball. He threw it at Naruto only for the 5 spikes to shot off it and aim at Naruto. Naruto was quick enough to knock all of them away, but soon they came back. Naruto kept knocking them away until one hit him in his left arm. His arm started to bleed and Naruto knew he couldn't move that arm. Naruto humped back as Omeda slammed the mace into the ground, creating a fissure. Naruto flash stepped in front of him and tried to slash him only for one of the spikes to block it. Naruto jumped to the side as he knew another spike nearly hit him in the back. What are you waiting for, little man? Release your Zanpakuto. Can you release it, or are you just so weak? I know, let your of a mother come out here and fight me or one of your pretty little girlfriends. I'll be happy to play with them. I like Momo. She's shy and I bet she's lovely in bed, said Omeda, unknowingly signing his death warrant. Did he just say that to me? This, thought Naruto, starting to forcibly draw Yasei's power. This is not good. Naruto, calm down. Before something bad happens, said Yasei, only to be ignored by Naruto. Bankai, said Naruto, holding the sword in front of him. Instead of Naruto's normal yellow aura, it was a corrupted black twist that started to take shape. Once it was done, Naruto's hair had turned black, his sword had become a black version of his normal Shikai, but it wasn't steel, it was a black aura inside of it. Naruto smirked a bit before raising the sword with just his hand before swiping it at Omeda. A strong wind blew from nowhere and leveled all trees within 200 feet of Naruto. With Naruto's friends, Captain Hana, what the hell is going on? We've all seen Naruto's Shikai before, but it's not this, and he yelled out Bankai, said Nanao, fearing for her lover. This is what happens to a soul reaper when pure rage consumes them. You're right about that blade not being his true Bankai. It's a corrupted, twisted form that holds back his real power, but is considerably stronger than his Shikai. He could beat Omeda in this state, but the price of victory is great. If he takes a life while in this state, he will forever lose the ability to call on his true Bankai. I've seen it happen before, said Hana. Naruto, snap out of it, yelled Soifun. Back at the battle, Naruto was decimating Omeda and wanted to finish the swine of for good. He heard Soifun yell. What the hell am I thinking? This bastard is not worthy of death, not even in this corrupted mindset, thought Naruto. As he started to revert back to normal. With Naruto's friends, look, Naruto-kun starting to return to normal, said a happy Soifun as everyone glanced at her. The brat can be damn scary when you piss him off, thought Zabuza. Back on the field, Naruto held his normal Zanpakuto to Omeda's throat, before moving it and using it to remove the vice captain's badge, before putting it on his own right arm. You who uses the rank of vice captain for personal gain is nothing but a damned fool and coward who hides behind family status as a shield. I will never follow someone like you into battle. I will not even allow you the position of third seat. You shall be knocked down to just under the 20-seated officer. That is my decision as vice captain, and if you got a problem with that you can face my blade, said Naruto, sheathing his sword as the wind picked up a bit, moving his hair around. No thank you, said the large man as he soiled himself from fear. Good. Guards, remove this man from my sight, said Naruto as two stealth force members removed the man from Naruto's viewing area. His friends ran up to him and Momo gave him a massive hug. You're the best, Naruto-kun. Beating Omae Tem like that was so cool, said Momo, making everyone sweat drop. Do this girl got problems, or something? Thought most of the people. So Momo-chan has her eyes on Naruto-kun, huh? I'll talk to Nanao about sharing her. After all, the more the merrier. Come on Naruto-kun, we have some noobs at the academy to torture, said Soifun as Naruto smirked at the thought of I mean teaching students. With the council, they all gasped as they saw her face. She was shockingly gorgeous. Her skin was a creamy color, her lips were plump and red, her face was very angelic, her hair fell down to mid-back in two long ponytails and was a lovely blue. She had two scars over her left eye and going down her face, but the strange thing was that her left eye was blue, and her right eye was light blue. My name is Charm. You could say I am Fate's daughter. Uzumaki Naruto is not tied to fate and destiny in any way, as he was dealt a cruel hand from the start, said Charm, casting a glance at Kyubi. Sorry Lady Wind, but even I am not immune to those two deities at all times, said Kyubi, bowing his head in regret. It matters not. What does this have to do with the Hollows and Nexus? Asked Meraki. Uzumaki is a child of destiny and yet not a child of destiny. He has free reign over his own life and can do as he pleases. Ruler or servant, hero or villain. They cut the ties to everything that surrounded him when he was involved. Wait Lady Wind, what are you trying to tell us? Said Lord Fire. That Uzumaki Naruto has no one set destiny, but now he has given himself the ultimate destiny, that destiny herself would give to no one human, said Charm. What would that be? Asked Lady Mitoki. If Uzumaki Naruto should fail in his quest to defeat Nexus or the one who hides his true self, then all worlds are doomed, said Charm as a deadly silence fell over the room. Naruto saw both girls were tired and he helped both of them to bed, before he himself climbed into it and joined them in the world of dreams. Dreams of perverts, more like it. Time skip. I'm not sure how to skip it now. I'm just jumping to a few months before the first arc. The way I figure it, time moves differently all over the damn place, so no one time is set. Momo was not a happy camper. No sir. She had been asked out yet again, by one of her subordinates, and he wouldn't take no for an answer. If it wasn't for the fact that she with Naruto at the time, the prick would have most likely raped her. Over the past 4 years, decades in human time, slight years in shinobi time, Naruto had become a favorite to become a captain if someone should step down or leave, but he was still loyal to Soifun. In the last year alone he had been challenged by no less than 50 members of the 2nd Division so they could become vice captain. Not a damn one was able to make the cut or even touch him. Momo was brought out of her thoughts as she ran into someone. Oh, I'm sorry, said Momo, getting up. No, it was all me, came the voice of her good friend Rangaku. Hello Rangaku-chan. Don't you have a meeting with your captain today? Asked Soifun. I do, but I was looking for Gaara-chan and Sasuke-kun, said Rangaku. Oh, they went on a training excursive with Naruto-kun, said Momo, smiling. Oh well, see you later, said Rangaku, jumping away. Momo walked away and into a forest that few people ever came to. She liked the quiet, but that was broken in an instant as a man jumped out and pinned her to the ground. It was the same bastard that wanted her to go out with him. She narrowed her eyes at him. Let me go, or else, said Momo as the guy grabbed one of her s. Or else what? Said the man. Hurricane strike, yelled out a voice. A powerful wind shot out and slammed the man into a tree. Momo-san, are you alright? Asked Sasuke, helping her up. Yes, I'm fine. I never did like scum like that, came the voice of Gaara. Normally a person would be tried for treason, but you're guilty as sin, said Naruto before he slashed the monk's head off. Thank you Naruto-kun. I was wondering if you and I could eat together like we used to. Momo-chan, I'll see you later. I have to go and meet with Soifun, said Naruto before he moved with speed that could rival that of the legendary goddess of the Flash. Momo sighed. It had been this way for 2 years. Ever since she had told him she loved Aizen and wanted to marry him, on a schoolgirl's crush sort of thing, he seemed a little more distant, especially after he told her that she was being a silly little girl. Momo still liked Naruto, but they hardly spoke now, and when they did it was always short and about business. Momo began following Sasuke and Gaara. With Naruto, Soifun wanted Naruto to go over to the dark woods and kill a hollow that had been seen there. It also had to do with Kane's wife. Her team had been out for nearly 3 days and had not reported back. Naruto was a good friend of Kane's as they often worked together and had to go to various meetings. Naruto was currently a little pissed off. It was dark and he was getting ready to call it quits when he heard the sounds of battle. Quickly taking out his sword, he rushed over to where he saw Captain Ukitake, Rukia, and not too far off Kane battling the hollow barehanded. Naruto was about to yell at them for not helping until he heard them specking. Apparently the hollow had killed Kane's wife, but not before he had her slaughter her own men, and he was doing this for their honor. Naruto stayed put and decided to wait the battle out. It looked bad when Rukia screamed out that Kane was taken over and told to run away. Figuring that Ukitake could handle it, Naruto ran after Rukia. Naruto followed Rukia and caught her in an embrace. "Rukia, calm down," said Naruto. "Naruto, please save Kane Dono," said Rukia. "This fool can't be saved," said the hollow before he charged at Rukia and Naruto. Naruto charged right back and stabbed the hollow in the heart. "Kane, I'm sorry my friend," said Naruto with tears beginning to fall from his eyes. Don't apologize for doing your job." Kane paused as he threw up some blood on Naruto. "Don't hate yourself for what you did my friend," said Kane as he closed his eyes. "Kane Dono," said Rukia with tears falling from her eyes as rain began to fall. Naruto didn't say anything as he picked Kane up and took him away to his brother and sister. The sound of rain was all that could be heard as Naruto and Rukia made their way back to the 13th Division barracks. Once there, Naruto saw the remaining 2 members of the Shiba clan there. He sat Kane down in front of them before he back up, got on his hands and knees, and bowed his head so low it touched the ground. Rukia stood next to him shocked, because Naruto never bowed unless it was a matter of great importance. "I'm sorry, it was by my hand and blade that Kane fell. Kukaku-sama, Ganju-san, can you forgive me for this crime?" asked Naruto, looking up only to be met with a fist from Kukaku that knocked him back. "You bastard, you have some nerve asking for that after what you just did, and the little tramp here is no better," said Kukaku, glaring at Rukia, who flinched under her gaze. "That's right, I know about you as well, Rukia Kuchiki. Kane told me that you seemed to have feelings for him at one point in time, but was disappointed when you found out he was married to Miyako," said Kukaku, only for Naruto to step in front of Rukia, who started to cry in sadness at the venom in her words. "It's not true. Yes, I loved Kane Dono, but only like a brother and admired him as a good friend and leader, and I looked up to Miyako-san as I wished I could be strong like her," said Rukia, falling to her knees in tears. "Lies," said Kukaku, glaring at her with tears in her eyes. "You secretly hated Miyako for having that special place in his heart that no one else could have. You're just a little virgin whore who wanted to get laid by a righteous man like Kane so you could go others and not worry about your status. Stop this madness, Shiba-sama, or I will have to retaliate in Rukia's honor. If you should be mad at me. Rukia did nothing to warrant this attack on her person. If anyone deserves punishment, it's me for taking Kane's life in cold blood. Kane was a good friend, but there was nothing I could do to prevent what happened," said Naruto before he found another fist in his face. That left him on the ground. "Silence. I have nothing left to say to the likes of you bastards. Ganju, let's go, the air here is making me sick," said Kukaku, walking away with Ganju following. Once they were gone, Rukia kneeled down next to Naruto and helped him up. "Naruto, you didn't have to stand up for me like that. She was right, I am a virgin whore who just wanted a good man like Kaidono for a good lay," said Rukia before she felt a slap on the face. She looked at Naruto and saw a gaze that let her know he didn't want to hear something like that. Not from her, at least. "If I ever hear you say that again, I'll really hurt you, Rukia-chan. You're nothing like what she says. You're too nice to let people's words get to you like that, Rukia-chan," said Naruto in a firm, yet soft voice. Rukia was shocked. Here he was, one of the most powerful vice captains, telling her off like he really knew her, but then again Naruto was strange like that. "Let's go back," said Rukia, helping Naruto up and taking him to his dorm, before leaving. A few months later, Naruto and Rukia sat in a room with Renji, who made vice captain only 3 years ago in the 6th division. It was nothing important, just mandatory paperwork that needed to get done. They were about to finish up when Jin walked in, followed by his lieutenant Kira, a man Naruto didn't get along with too well because of the way he acted. Sort of bipolar. "Hello Captain Jin, Izuru," said Naruto, standing up as Rukia froze. Naruto didn't miss this, as he knew that Jin unsettled Rukia whenever he was near her. It was almost like he wanted to see her sweat whenever he talked to her or someone when she was around. "Watch what you say, Uzumaki, I'm a vice captain after all," said Izuru, grabbing the hilt of his sword. "Don't go overboard thinking you're big shit, Izuru. We hold the same rank after all," said Naruto as Izuru charged. Naruto drew his sword, and just as they were about to come to blows, Jin stepped in and stopped them. Now Izuru, you know better than that. Anyway, Naruto-san, you and Rukia-san have a mission from Yamamoto. The details of the mission will be given once you speak to him," said Jin. "Understood. Rukia, head out ahead of me, I need to talk to Renji for a few minutes," said Naruto as Rukia left with Jin and Izuru leaving shortly after. "Naruto, what is it you wanted to say?" asked Renji, standing up. "I've found some things out that are important, but I'm not sure what the hell is going on. All I have to say is this: should I be reported dead by Aizen, Jin, or anyone in their divisions on their orders, you are to open this," said Naruto, handing him a scroll. "I'm sure I won't have to, Naruto," said Renji, knowing Naruto trusted him more than any one person. "I hope not. Also let my mother know as well. If things get out of hand, I don't want to put Momo-chan, Soifun-chan, or Nanao-chan in any danger," said Naruto. "I understand where you're coming from, bro. You have my word," said Renji, putting the scroll in his kimono, before he and Naruto left. In Yamamoto's office, Naruto and Rukia both sat on one knee, kneeled before Yamamoto, who looked at them with an ever-cool gaze. "We have been receiving reports on mass holo activate in a town called Karakura Town, the major western part of Tokyo. You two are going in and dealing with this problem. You have a few weeks before you are called back. You are to leave at once," said Yamamoto. "Yes, Yamamoto-sama," said Rukia as she and Naruto stood before leaving the hall. In Karakura Town late at night, Rukia and Naruto had just arrived and were instantly in awe at how the town looked. Naruto jumped up into a tree and looked around. He could feel the presence of hollows all over the place, but he planned to do something about it. Just as he was about to leave, he felt the power of 2 hollows that were on the attack. "Rukia, let's go. We have to split up. I'll go east, you go north. Should anything happen, you know what to do," said Naruto before he ran off. The presence that Naruto felt was just before him. He jumped out the way as a blast of demonic energy hit the street. He looked up and saw the last person he wanted to see, surrounded by 5B-ranked hollows. "Aizen, why am I not surprised it's you?" said Naruto. Aizen just smirked. "I have no clue, Naruto-kun, but I'm afraid you have to die. You are already a minor nuisance to me, but in time since you became a Soul Reaper, you've become to be a risk to allow to live. So my friends here shall end your life," said Aizen before he unsheathed his sword. "Aizen, you'd better hope these 5 can kill me, or else I'll come and kill you," said Naruto, unsheathing his own sword. "Bold words for a dead man, Naruto-kun. I'll be sure to tell your 2 lovely girlfriends and the girl who loves you so much more than she admires me," said Aizen before he disappeared. The hollows wasted no time in attacking Naruto as they did a massive attack. Naruto moved with his flash step behind the first hollow and removed his mask with a thrust slash through the back of his head. He put his sword behind him just in time to block an oncoming strike from another hollow. Naruto spun around and kicked that hollow in the head, before he twisted his body around and slashed his mask off, killing it before the gates of hell opened. Naruto didn't have time to watch as another hollow charged. This one got a lucky blow in and slashed open Naruto's right arm. Naruto quickly put his sword in his left hand and lashed out with a wind strike that he was able to learn from Yasei. Naruto took a quick head count. The last 2 didn't look to edge or to die, but they seemed scared for some reason. Naruto took this opportunity to rush them and attack. Now normally this would have worked, however the two hollows both wounded him before they disappeared. Naruto leaned up against a tree and panted. He knew that he was injured because he was being careless and was determined to get back at Aizen. That was the reason so many Reapers got killed in the field. Naruto pulled out his emergency kit and activated it. It healed a few wounds to the point where they weren't so deep, but it was a far cry from safe. He then pulled out his emergency GG kit. He molded it to be an exact replica of himself before he stepped in it. The GG had on blue jean pants, a white long-sleeve button-up shirt and a pair of black shoes. Naruto began to walk away and felt some blood flow down his partially closed wounds. It took him a good 5 minutes to reach a road that was well lit with people around. People soon saw him and yelled out in surprise as he fell down. Someone yelled about calling 911. The last thing he saw before he passed out was a purple-haired girl and a tall tanned man yell out for help. The first thing Naruto felt when he woke up was a throbbing head. He opened his eyes and saw he was in a bed, and not just any bed, a hospital bed. Why oh why did it have to be a hospital bed? For Kami's sake I would have taken a bed in a dumpster, thought Naruto as the door opened and two people walked in. The first was a girl that looked about 15, standing around 5 feet 6 inches, unruly purple hair, brown eyes, a figure to die for, B-cup-s, wearing a white jacket with blue lines, a purple shirt, blue jean pants and a pair of sneakers. The other was a boy looked to be about 16, stood around 6 feet even and well muscled, brown hair that covered one of his brown eyes, wearing a blue and red Hawaiian shirt, blue pants, and blue sneakers. "Hey Chad, look, he's awake," said the girl. "It seems so, Tatsuki," said the boy known as Chad before he took a seat in a chair. Tatsuki sat on the bed. "Where am I and who are you two?" asked Naruto. "Sorry about that. My name is Tatsuki and the big guy name is Sato, but only his close friends call him Chad." "What's your name by the way, Ahd-some?" said Tatsuki, taking a small apple from a nearby bowl of fruit. Naruto sat up and looked at her. "Naruto is my name, Tatsuki-san, Chad-san. How long have I been out by the way?" asked Naruto before he looked at his arm, seeing no wounds. "About 2 weeks. One of us came to check on you every day. This is the first time we came together," said Chad. "Thanks for making sure I'm good, you too. What day is it anyway?" asked Naruto, getting out of the bed. "Sunday," said Chad, before he was interrupted by Tatsuki. "What the hell are you doing, dumbass? The doctors said you shouldn't be up for at least a month," said Tatsuki. "Aside from the fact I'm a fast healer and I hate hospitals altogether, I need to get myself a temp apartment, attend school and look for my friend of mine when we had to split apart because someone was after us," said Naruto before he grabbed a set of cloths Chad brought with them. "What's the name of your friend?" asked Chad. "You probably wouldn't know her, so I won't give out her name yet. It's likely she's back in our hometown by now," said Naruto, walking out wearing a blue jacket, blue pants, a black shirt, and simple track shoes. "You can stay with me for the next little while," said Chad, getting up. "It's settled, let's get me into school and get myself a temp job," said Naruto with him leading them out. Monday. Naruto stood outside the room to the class waiting to be called into the room. He found out yesterday that Chad and Tatsuki were fun to be around. He also got himself into the school system rather easy. Now all he had to do was find Rukia and he'd be good. If Naruto had been honest with himself, he would have found out he was developing feelings for the purple-eyed girl. Naruto was brought out of his thoughts as the teacher opened the door. Taking a breath, he walked into the room. Once inside, he bowed his head a bit. When he looked up, he saw a few of the girls had rather deep blushes on their faces. "Hello, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. I hope we—" Naruto didn't finish as he heard a gasp. "Naruto," came the voice of Rukia. Naruto looked over into the very back and saw her. "Rukia," said Naruto. Before he knew it, Rukia was up out her seat and hugging the life out of him while crying. "I thought you were dead when I couldn't find you after that incident," said Rukia, crying into his chest. Naruto smiled before he hugged her. "I'm fine, Rukia-chan. You know it takes a lot to hurt me," said Naruto before the teacher coughed, signaling them to take their seats. After both blushed, they did as asked. Lunch time. Naruto sat on the roof with Rukia next to him. "Rukia, what happened? I couldn't feel your signature in the class, asked Naruto. Rukia sighed and put down her meal. While I was fighting a hollow, I was injured so bad that I had to use the forbidden transfer of power on a boy named Ichigo to let him save his family. He nearly siphoned off all my power, even though I only intended to give him half, leaving me like I am now. I've had him killing hollows in our place for the last 2 weeks, said Rukia. I want to have a talk with Strawberry. If what you say is true, then it's going to come down to blows, said Naruto, standing. I wanted to talk with you too, Fishcake, but it's going to be a death wish fighting me, said Ichigo, stepping onto the roof. Don't get me wrong, Ichigo is one of my favorite characters along with Naruto, but they add a little to alike most of the time. So Ichigo, do you want to talk or fight? Either way I'm kicking your ass, said Naruto, coming loose from his Gigi. Funny, I was about to say the same thing, said Ichigo, taking out a plush doll and taking the pill out. He came out of his body with a big-ass Zanpakuto strapped to his back. Naruto, Ichigo, can't you two just talk it out? No way in hell, Rukia. We're two guys with words to say that can only be expressed through our fists, said Ichigo. I couldn't have put that better myself, said Naruto as they both unsheathed their blades. Ichigo charged Naruto with a sloppy thrust that Naruto easily parried before he kicked Ichigo in the face, sending him into the rail. Naruto ran up and brought his sword down only for Ichigo to block and kick him in the face. The fight went back and forth like this for nearly 10 minutes until Rukia had enough and slammed a fist into both their heads. Grow up, you two, or I'll add more than a few lumps to your fat heads, yelled Rukia, making Naruto and Ichigo move backwards and hug each other in fear. She's scary sometimes, said Ichigo, with Naruto shaking his head in the positive. After Rukia healed them and they returned to their bodies, in Naruto's case, they sat down and decided to talk about it like adults. Ichigo is the name, said Ichigo, sticking his hand out. Naruto, you and I are going to get along great, said Naruto as they shook each other's hands. This is great and all, but Naruto, why haven't you returned to Soul Society? It would have been simple enough for you to do, asked Rukia. I can't leave you behind, besides we have a few weeks before we're to return and I hate to leave friends behind, said Naruto, starting to feel a lot of different power signatures. I think I understand now. These's a whole lot of spirit power in this town at the moment. Fate is a sometimes, thought Naruto as the bell rung. In Soul Society, Aizen had to backtrack and make sure nothing was amiss, for he knew one simple flaw and he could his plans goodbye. He walked out and decided to make the final preparations when he felt a presence in the area. Walking intro a well-hidden forest, a man who resembled a snake walked out from behind a tree. Who are you? Asked Aizen. Who I am is of little importance, but my name is Orochimaru. What you need to know, Aizen-san, is that my master asked me to deliver a term of alliance to you, said the man. Speak and I shall listen, said Aizen, taking off his glasses. Very well. Follow me, as too many ears are around, said Orochimaru, jumping into the trees followed by Aizen. The captains and vice-captains had gathered at the request of Aizen. They had no clue what was going on. Aizen walked into the room with Momo behind him. She too had no idea what her captain had to say. Aizen stepped into the middle of the room. Thank everyone for assembling so quickly. I must tell you that Naruto Uzumaki has been killed in the line of duty, said Aizen, patting himself on the back for his acting skills. Everyone in the room paled at this. Everyone knew Naruto could take on almost any captain and hold them before they used Shikai. It's just that Naruto always fought on even grounds with most of his opponents to give them a chance. Unless they were hollows, then he wouldn't hesitate to kill them quickly. Are you sure, Aizen-sama? Asked Nanao, with tears falling from her eyes at the thought of a dead Naruto. It's true. His spiritual energy disappeared from our radars, and from the looks of it, Rukia was the one to kill him, as she too disappeared from our radars soon after, but at a slower rate, said Aizen as Renji narrowed his eyes, and Nanao ran out the room with Momo and Soifun following her. Everyone knew that Nanao was with Naruto. They also know that he was a good friend of both Soifun and Momo. So for him to be dead must have been really hard on them the most. Excuse me, captains, but I must attend to something of importance, said Renji bowing before walking out. This is too troublesome, said a boy about 4 feet 11 inches, white hair, and a long sword strapped to his back. Don't worry about anything, Captain Hishigaya. I'm sure everything will be fine,
said Renji walking out. In Renji's office. After leaving, Renji went right to his office and grabbed the scroll and unraveled it. Renji, if you're reading this, that means Aizen or Jin have said I died in the line of duty. Don't believe that shit for a second. I'm too stubborn to die that easy. Anyway, I found out that Aizen has been doing experiments on hollows he somehow captured without anyone but Jin finding out. I've also dipped into his records and found something along the lines of an evolved hollow, stronger than even the last stage of the Vasto Lord and a level beyond Captain. He's planning something big, Renji. Real big. Be careful with whom you trust until I can return. I know Sasuke, Gaara, Nanao, Soifun, and my parents will believe you, so trust them. It's going to be a while before I return, so be careful. Watch Aizen, and if we encounter each other in the presence of a captain, then fight me as if you were fighting an enemy. Renji, if things are going the way I think they will, there will be a war soon. Until I return, goodbye, Renji. Naruto. Renji rolled up the scroll and put it in his GI. He would have to destroy it later, but right now his brother needed him to keep things in line, and that's what he intended to do after he finished a few quick looks at Aizen's records. Human world. Naruto and Ichigo had just killed a hollow, and Rukia was sitting down drinking a juice box. The hollow was nothing but a high C-ranked hollow, making the kill easy for Naruto, but Ichigo handled most of it for the experience. Rukia and Naruto had been in the human world for a month, and in that time Naruto was able to use the little money in the bank to get them a place to stay. Naruto worked at a little ramen stand that became a hit because of the noodles he made. Instantly enough, the name of the stand was the one from his old world. Damn, that was a waste of time, said Ichigo as he got back in his body. Has anyone ever seen him go back into his body? Quit complaining. It's 9 p.m. Go home, we got school tomorrow, said Naruto as Ichigo took off down the street. Kid reminds me of myself, thought Naruto as Rukia tugged on his hair. Naruto looked at Rukia, who blushed. Naruto, your hair is too long, you need to get it cut, said Rukia looking away. It was true. Naruto's hair was longer than Ino's hair, and that was saying something. Naruto got back in his body and he and Rukia walked back to their apartment. It took them 40 minutes to get there, but they liked the little walk as it gave them time to chat. When they got to their apartment, Naruto grabbed a sheet and chair and sat down in the living room while Rukia took a pair of clippers and started to cut his hair. She trimmed it a bit and then cut some of the hair off, making it go to about to his shoulder blades. Rukia then smiled as she styled his hair. After Rukia finished, she grabbed a mirror and had Naruto look at his hair. His bangs now only fell to the left side of his face, only covering his eye a bit. The rest fell behind him in a braid. Rukia did. Rukia pulled the sheet off him and wrapped around herself as she had a small frown on her face. Naruto stood up and wrapped her in a warm embrace that made her blush. Think Trigun. Rukia-chan, are you alright? Asked Naruto as he sat on the couch with Rukia in his lap. I'm not sure, Naruto-kun. I watched you in the academy, because you not only had promise, but was kind, honorable, loyal, and the way you used a sword was beyond gorgeous, and soon I found myself with a crush on you. At first I denied it, saying I have feeling of friendship and admiration only. As time went on, I started to realize I wanted you to be mine. So what I'm about to ask you is something I hope won't ruin our friendship. Could you love me like you love Soifun-sama and Nanao-chan? Said Rukia. Naruto smiled at her before patting her head softly. We'll see. For now let's get some sleep, said Naruto as he laid down with Rukia on top of him. Next morning, when Rukia and Naruto arrived at school, they saw something that they thought they would never see. A laughing, joking, and smiling Ichigo with a glow in his eyes that they had never seen in him. Naruto looked over to his left as Tatsuki stood up. Orihime, you are very perceptive of things like this. It took me nearly 3 years to figure it out. If you have any business with Ichigo, get it out of the way today, because I guarantee he won't be here tomorrow, said Tatsuki walking away. Naruto frowned and sat in his chair as the teacher walked in. Lunch on the roof. Rukia and the girls were eating by the tree and Ichigo looked down on them with a smile. Ichigo, came Naruto's voice from on a roof. Oh hey Naruto, said Ichigo looking into Naruto's eyes. From the moment we meet I never saw you smiling. What's that about? Asked Naruto. Ichigo smiled. We all have something to hide, my friend. I know this is weird, but can I have tomorrow off? Asked Ichigo. Naruto looked at Ichigo before nodding. Ichigo walked past him to the door, and just as he was about to close it, Naruto said something that stopped him cold. Don't ever live in the past and think you did something wrong, for it has killed many men that way, said Naruto before he looked out past the tree lines. In an old part of West Rukin, in a large clearing, Orochimaru and an unknown hollow stood behind Nexus awaiting Aizen and his followers. Why must we wait? Asked the hollow. The hollow looked like a humanoid tiger that was missing a quarter of his mask over his left eye. He wore a black cloak, red pants, and on his side was a long sword. Be silent, Kane, or I will end you myself, said Nexus. Don't forget, old friend, I am a Vasto Lord, one of the most powerful hollows, said the now named Kane, preparing to draw his sword. Maybe you two should relax and sit down, said Orochimaru as he now donned a partial snake mask that covered half his face. You who are so new a hollow have no right to speak to a Vasto Lord in such an arrogant tone, said Kane, only to find a sword at his throat. I may be a new hollow scum, but I did in a few years what it took you nearly a century to do, so know your place or die, said Orochimaru, putting his hand on his blade. It would be a wise idea to clam down, came the cool voice of Aizen, who stood near the tree line with Jin and Konami next to him. I see you have accepted the alliance, said Nexus. I have, said Aizen. That's good, but let me warn you. If our goals start to differ, then I will kill you, said Nexus. I understand, Nexus, said Aizen as Nexus, Kane, and Orochimaru vanished. Are you sure it's wise to trust Vasto Lord level hollows, Aizen-sama? Asked Konami, looking at Aizen. I always had a feeling he could see things in a way no one could. No, but if they needs met my plans, then I could care less about the trust, but if they prove to be a threat or we no longer need, then we shall kill them, said Aizen. We should be getting back now. After all, with Naruto-san's recent death, anyone away for too long looks bad, said Jin. Aizen smiled. Right as always, said Aizen as they stepped away. Ichigo was feeling a bit hot even though it was the middle of June, but he was glad. Rain just reminded him of this day, the day he. Ichi, hurry your ass up, came the voice of his little sister Karen. He looked over at her as she had a scowl on her face. Sometimes she acted like him, the only difference was that she was damn scary and could kick his ass. They soon got to the top of the hill only to see Naruto and Rukia standing there. Rukia had on a blue and white sundress, and Naruto wore a red sleeveless tee, blue jean pants, and red shoes. He also had his hair unbraided. Ichi-kun, said Rukia, waving. Hey Strawberry-san, said Naruto, laughing as Ichigo fumed. Ichi, who are those two? Asked Yuzu, pointing at Naruto and Rukia. People I go to school with. Someone they knew is buried here, so they're paying their respects today, said Ichigo, coming up with the lie quick. Hey Ichigo, come with us for a bit, said Naruto, walking off into the woods. Ichigo soon followed and they stood on a dirt path. Alright, all acting and funny business aside, what happened on this day that could make you smile like you did yesterday and go back to badass mother today? Asked Rukia, that made Ichigo tense up. Nothing, said Ichigo, trying to walk away only for Naruto to grab his shoulder. Ichigo swung around and slugged Naruto in the face. What the hell, Ichigo? Said Naruto, touching his cheek. It didn't hurt, but it was damn close to stinging. Ichigo looked apologetic. Sorry man, but it's on this day that my mother died. She was my family's sun. Our worlds revealed around her. She was killed. It wasn't the usual thugs, gangsters, and criminals, but me. I'm responsible for her death, said Ichigo before finding a fist in his face. Ichigo got up and ran. Damn it. Ichigo, wait, said Naruto as he was about to chase Ichigo, when he saw a man standing next to a tree. The man wore the clothes of a soul reaper, but what confirmed he was a reaper was the sword on his side. Hello comrade and imposter, said the man, getting ready to draw his blade with a lazy yawn. Who the hell are you? Asked Rukia. Don't around or I'll splatter you all over these woods before you can get a clean shot in, said Naruto, glaring at the man. You imposter look like Naruto Uzumaki, the prodigy of the Soul Reaper Academy, and Rukia Kuchiki, the princess of Rukin. I am Saidu. You have to remember me, I was 2 years ahead of you guys. You remember me, I was pretty famous as the funny guy, said the man now known as Saidu. Sorry, never heard of you, said Rukia, making the man face fault. Oh well, but right now I have a mission to bring you back to Soul Society Rukia to face punishment, said Saidu, only for Naruto and Rukia to realize who he was. Damn, a stealth force agent. Rukia, move back, said Naruto, slipping out of his body and drawing his sword. It was at that moment that Ichigo joined them. Hey kid, who are you to jump in like this? Asked Saidu as Ichigo used Khan's pill. Name's Ichigo and I'm a substitute Soul Reaper, said Ichigo, drawing his big-ass sword. Oh Rukia, you know that that's a big no-no in the books, said Saidu. Rukia was about to respond when her cell phone went off. She pulled it out and looked at it, only for her purple eyes to widen. We can finish this damn fight later. Right now a hollow is down near the graves, said Rukia. Fearing the worst for his family, Ichigo rushed away along with Naruto and Rukia next to him. I'm going to skip the running down the stairs and talking, as it's damn pointless. When they got down there, Naruto and Ichigo's eyes widened as they saw a hollow nearly eat Yuzu and had Karen underfoot. Naruto got Karen while Naruto got Yuzu. After Khan took them away, they both looked at the hollow. It was big, brown, had the face of a sea monkey, and on its head was a lore. Naruto flared his spiritual power after he saw who it was. As rage built inside them, it started to rain. Grand Fisher, yelled Naruto as he charged. It's the girl that I saw all those years ago down by the river on this day. This thing killed my mother, yelled Ichigo. Grand Fisher, as it was called, used two blades made from its hair to stop them. Blondie, I remember you. Nearly took my head after I ate the soul of that woman you called Hinata. Boy, you seem familiar. It gets kinda hard to tell after you eat so many, said Grand Fisher. Throwing them back. Naruto flipped in the air and landed next to Rukia while Ichigo landed in a gravestone. Naruto, what's gotten into you? This is Grand Fisher, an A-ranked hollow that's killed every Soul Reaper that's come after it for the last 50 years, said Rukia. Like I give a damn at this point in time. One time this bastard killed the woman I called sister. He killed my childhood friend. He killed Hinata-chan in cold blood right before my eyes, said Naruto, his eyes flaring in anger. Maybe, maybe not. I do remember you face, said Grand Fisher as Naruto hit him with his sword. Hollow, you're gone. Rukia, stay out of this, said Ichigo as Naruto was thrown back and Ichigo charged. But Ichigo, you, started Rukia, only to be stopped by Naruto. Rukia, stay out of this, like Ichigo said. Ichigo and I are going to kill this Grand Fisher bastard. He took loved ones from us and we plan to even the score, by taking his life, said Naruto. Rukia looked down and put her left hand on her right arm. Alright, but please be careful, said Rukia. Ichigo jumped back as Naruto came up. They both charged again and both found spikes protecting that hollow as it laughed. I'm going to enjoy sending you two into oblivion, said Grand Fisher. Not before we send you to hell, said Ichigo as he and Naruto got ready to fight at their max. Naruto charged first and was about to split Grand Fisher's mask, only to find that a Hinata replica was in front of GF. Naruto's eyes widened before he felt a spike pass through his left shoulder. Naruto raised his sword and slammed it into GF's stomach, before GF threw him into Ichigo. Naruto was right back up and held his sword in his right hand. Ichigo jumped in the air while Naruto started a spell. Ye Lord, mask of blood and flesh, all creation, flutter of wings, ye who bears the name of man. Inferno and pandemonium, the sea barrier surges, march on to the south. Keto 31 red flame cannon, said Naruto, firing right at GF. Just as it was about to hit, GF jumped to the side and Ichigo came down right on top of it. GF blocked Ichigo's blade and slammed a spike into his shoulder. Ichigo nearly dropped his blade and GF started to laugh. I will say this, boy, you are the youngest, stupidest, greenest term for rookies, and weakest Soul Reaper I have ever fought. GF slammed another spike into Naruto, who tried to sneak up on him. You're slightly better, but just as weak. Your blades are dull and will never hurt me, because of your anger, said GF as the thing on his head split in two. One became Hinata and the other Ichigo's mother. What the hell is going on? Said Rukia. It must be their last recorded thoughts upon death, said Saidu. Ichigo-chan, my little boy, I'm so proud of you. I love you as much as Karen-chan and Yuzu-chan. Grow up to be a strong and noble man, said Ichigo's mother. My only regret is that I never got to tell Naruto-kun that he was the love of my life. I wished we could have been more than friends. I would have loved to be his wife, said Hinata. Ichigo tightened his grip on his blade and slashed at the hollow. I'll tell you now, you're the ugliest, most evil, and most vile hollow I've ever met, and a dull blade is all I need to kill you, yelled Ichigo, cutting him deep. Just as GF was about to pull away, he felt another blade hit him in the back. You are going to pay dearly for what you did to Hinata, you scum. If you don't go to hell, I'll find you and kill you in Soul Society, said Naruto as GF jumped away. Damn you Soul Reapers, there's no way you'll kill me, said GF, making his escape. Come back and fight, you coward, said Ichigo, falling down as Naruto walked over and sat next to him. Forget it, Ichigo, he's gone, said Naruto as Kon came near them with Naruto's Gigi in arms. No, that thing killed my mother, yelled Ichigo as Naruto glared at him. So what? That thing killed Hinata-chan. We can't go after it now, we're too weak to beat it, but I promise you if I encounter Grand Fisher again, I'll kill it for sure, said Naruto as both he and Ichigo passed out for the next little while. Rukia rushed over to Ichigo and Naruto as Saidu just looked on. While Rukia landed herself 2 boy toys, said Saidu. Don't start, said Rukia. Alright, it's too bad I don't know what happened here, said Saidu. Aren't you going to report what you saw? Asked Rukia, looking at him. No, I won't, I'll make something up. Rukia, whatever is going on is none of my business, but sooner or later Soul Society will find you guys out, and when they do the ship will hit the fan, see ya, said Saidu, leaving. At Ichigo's mother's headstone, it had gotten dark and the mom was nearly at its peak by the time Naruto and Ichigo woke up to find Saidu gone. As Ichigo stood there, he was remembering his fight with Fisher and how he felt. He was brought out of his thoughts as his dad walked over wearing something normal for once. Dad, I thought you quiet smoking, said Ichigo as he looked at his dad, who pulled out a cigarette. Ichigo, your mom thought I looked cool when I smoked. Now that I think about it, that was probably the first and last compliment she gave me, but that one was all I needed, so I only smoke on this day for her, said Ishin, giving out a small and happy smile. How can you stand talking to me? I'm the reason mom's dead. I'm the reason that Yuzu and Karen never really got to know her. I wish you would all just get angry at me. It would help dull the pain I feel every time I look at their eyes when they're sad, said Ichigo, shaking a bit. Why should I blame you? If I blamed you for Masaki's death, she'd never be able to forgive me. It wasn't anyone's fault she died. She was the kind of woman would give her life 100 times over to protect her kid. Just remember, Ichigo, that the woman I loved so much died to protect you, said Ishin, poking his eye lightly and closing it with a smile. Dad, said Ichigo, just as Ishin started to walk away. As he passed Ichigo, he kneed him in the kidney, making Ichigo bind over. What the hell was that for? Said Ichigo, looking at his dad's retreating form. Can't have you going soft on me, boy. Live, Ichigo. Live well. Grow old well. Grow bald well. And die long after I die, said Ishin, walking away, before he stopped. On the anime he makes it look cool, and if you can die with a smile, otherwise I won't be able to look Masaki in the face when I see her again. Get that stupid scowl off your face, you're way too young to look cool carrying your grief around. I'll see you down below, said Ishin, waving and walking away. Naruto. Rukia, I know you're listening. I want to be a Soul Reaper a little longer, get stronger. So I can protect Dad, Yuzu-chan, Karen, everyone from Hollows, and beat him. Otherwise I won't ever be able to face my mother, said Ichigo, looking at them. Naruto stood next to a tree with a smile on his face, and Rukia sitting in a tree. I know just how you feel, thought Naruto as they all looked up. It was on this day, June 17th, that Ichigo, Rukia, and Naruto began to understand each other on a whole new level. It had been 2 weeks since Naruto and Ichigo did battle with GF, and things seemed to be pretty normal. Hollows hadn't shown up for about a week, and that was cool in Naruto's book. Rukia asked him why he didn't use his Shikai in the battle with GF, and his answer was a simple one. Flashback. Naruto, why didn't you use your Shikai to kill GF right away? I'm sure it would have been no problem for you, said Rukia. 2 reasons: 1, I wanted to give Ichigo a chance to kill GF, and 2, since my battle with those 5B ranked hollows, my power has only been at about 3/5 of what it normally is when restricted. I should be back at full power in another week or so, said Naruto, laying down and going to sleep. End flashback. True to his word, he was back to normal power, but he was troubled. It had a while since he had been in contact with Soul Society for some time, and he was worried Aizen was up to something that he had no knowledge about and could do nothing about. He was brought out of his thoughts as 3 people walked onto the roof. Naruto sighed. They were the local school thugs and Naruto didn't like them. Well, what do we have here? A blonde prick, said the leader. Back off, assholes, I'm not in the mood today, said Naruto, standing up. Why you? Said one of the other thugs, charging Naruto. Naruto ducked and then slammed a fist into his gut, making him spit up a bit. Naruto looked at the other guys and gave them a glare that made them run. It was after this that Naruto walked off and into a hall filled with the test results. Standing in front of the board was a boy who stood around 5 feet 8 inches, lean build, purple hair, square glasses over his blue eyes. He wore the school uniform with a blue tie on. Hello, who are you? Asked Naruto. The boy turned to Naruto, before pushing his glasses up. My name is Ryu. I'm surprised you don't know me, after all we are in the same class, said the boy. Naruto took a step closer and then threw a punch at Ryu. The punch stopped just short of his face and Ryu didn't even flinch. This made Naruto wonder what the boy was hiding. Most people would get scared of a fist that's about to hit them, said Naruto, moving his fist away. I don't get scared easy, Uzumaki-san, said Ryu, turning and walking away. Punk kid, said Naruto, walking in the opposite direction. A few hours later, Ichigo and Naruto were going to Ichigo's house. Rukia chose to walk around for a bit. Naruto's cell phone went off, indicating something was going down. He opened it to find that a hollow attack was happening, but it quickly ended. What the hell happened? Asked Ichigo. I bet I know. Isn't that right, Ryu? Said Naruto, looking up at the young man who held something blue in his hands. I figured you were just a strong human, but I was wrong. You two are Soul Reapers, said Ryu, making Naruto narrow his eyes. How did you know that? Asked Naruto. Ryu smirked before he dashed forward and pulled something out of the air. A red ribbon that was around both of them. This is a spirit ribbon. Normal humans have white and Soul Reapers have red. I'm willing to bet that Ichigo is not a full-fledged Reaper, and Rukia is a Reaper, said Ryu. Leave Rukia out of this, said Ichigo. Alright, but I challenge you too, said Ryu. Naruto and Ichigo looked at each other. What you mean, like a duel? They asked at the same time. Something like that, but a contest to see who can kill the most hollows, said Ryu, pulling something out of his pocket. It looked like a small ring. Naruto's eyes widened. You don't you dare crush that ring, yelled Naruto, slipping out of his body and Ichigo letting Kon take his. They both grabbed the hilts of their swords and got ready for a fight. Naruto, what is it? Asked Ichigo. Hollow bait. It gathers a lot of hollows together. Ryu, if you do this, started Naruto, only for Ryu to crush it with a small smirk. Here are the rules. Whoever kills the most hollows in 24 hours wins. Let the games begin, Soul Reapers, said Ryu as his bow appeared in his right hand and he shot a hollow in between the eyes. That's one. You'd better get moving if you want to be me, said Ryu, sending off another shot that killed another hollow. Damn you, Ichigo, go find your family. Hollows are drawn to those with powerful spirits, said Naruto, jumping into the air as he saw Ichigo run off. I have no time for your games, Ryu, so I won't play around, not now. Let the 4 winds howl, Yasei Cage, yelled Naruto as his blade turned into its Shikai form. Naruto turned and saw 5 hollows and thrust Yasei forward as a large wolf twister came out and destroyed the hollows. I'll be back for you later, you son of a, said Naruto, disappearing into the wind. Fools, you ignore those close to you, but don't worry, I'll save them all, said Ryu. At the school, Tatsuki and Orihime were helping to clean up the glass around the school shattered. They both know it wasn't ordinary, but they hoped it wasn't a bad sign. At the park, Chad sat down listening to his grandpa's favorite song when he felt a dark presence near the area. This could be bad. It's just like that one time, thought Chad. I'm at a rhyme, before he stood up. Back with Orochimaru, it has to do with someone I killed off. Orochimaru stood over a lab table stroking the girl's cheek in a fatherly way. After GF was injured and defected, Nexus decided to take the soul he knew Naruto would have a problem killing and made her a hollow. For a hollow to take a soul from another hollow was almost unheard of, but for Nexus it was a novelty trick at best. Orochimaru, how long before the girl is ready? Asked Nexus walking in. She's almost ready, Lord Nexus. By the time Aizen has what he needs she will be awake, said Orochimaru proudly. Good, said Nexus walking back to his throne room, while laughing. You will suffer just a bit by fight your dear Hinata-chan, Naruto Uzumaki. You will suffer for me, and then I will take your life, thought Nexus laughing even more. The end. Now we will see you